everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. We call it that because we're all over the world. We're just everywhere. We're in little pockets all over the globe. I mean, clearly, most of what I'm what I'm dealing with is like North America. Excuse me. I was just eating before. I'm always Russian. And according to the analytics, bits of Canada, and Asia through VPNs and, and some Eastern Europe. It's fun, but in the in the general norms, I'm here just to service the world in any way that I can. That sounded weird. Anyways, fear not. Here we are. Welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show in any way you can. The Venmo is right there if you want to help at any point during the show. If I make you laugh, or I contribute to your sense of well-being, or even inform you in a way that perhaps you weren't aware of something. And you're like, I did not know that. And you could go, I believe there should be an I did not know that tax. I'm going to send him $1. That's one of the ways that you do it. Also, you can subscribe using Amazon Prime and all that kind of stuff. Look at me doing all the business up front. Welcome to the show. So much to cover. Oh my God, we're never going to run out of stuff. It's just, even if tomorrow night, by the way, Trump is doing a rally and we are going to cover it, and it will be boring and stupid and strange, and will clearly give us, hopefully, it will give us some brand new action replays and hold on. I turned off the sound there because I was listening to an article before I came up there. Hopefully we'll have more of
de-engineering. Action replays in magnified fortune.
That kind of stuff. I'm hoping there's some. He's definitely going to be talking about immigration. Basically, all the clips we're talking about today that we'll see, including inflationary stuff. He's going to talk about that because that's the current riff that he's going to have to address some of these. So there'll be a bunch of
free healthcare for illegal. Look,
that kind of stuff, and. It'll be a party. Needless to say, other than funny little stray lip farts, as far as his increasingly embarrassing vocabulary fails, there won't be much else to watch. I mean, honestly, I feel like it used to be to some degree that we could just kind of sit back and watch these things and just laugh and laugh. Oh, the fun we'd have. And I could just, fact check him live, which I'm going to have to do a bunch of that again. But now you guys have been with me long enough to where you could probably quote the fact checks fast enough, because he doesn't update any of his talking points. Dear God, how many times are we going to hear tomorrow how Afghanistan was the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to the United States, and he was treated worse than any president in history. Take that, Lincoln and Kennedy. So, second dose of me today. Thanks to those of you that tune in for the morning show, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when I can do it. Of course, I do my best. We will be having a Monday show and a Wednesday show and a Friday show next week, so we'll be good. And it's more, we kind of look at the trends and the news headlines of the day, and then I go on a rant, quite frankly. I just kind of basically rant about stuff. But I try to do it in a laid-back way because it's early for me. Because we're mega worldwide, it could be midnight for some people. That's just how it works. Anyways, P.S. Australia, I see you, I love you, I'm sorry, and I don't know what the hell is going on. All right, here we go. Over there. You're very curious. Okay, so what's the big story on the right wing? What is it? What's currently the we finally got something. Oh, thank God. Something that will scare Republicans into voting Republican again more than they would just not vote because they don't trust elections. And something that will, it's a gotcha where we can go after Kamala and we can go after Joe Biden. And it's just going to prove that we were always right about it. And this is proof that they're doing the socialist thingamadodge or whatever. Anyways, there's this crazy talking point right now, and it has to do with this leaked video, which is not leaked at all. These guys shot it and gave it out. It's leaked like Project Veritas videos are leaked. And it's like, hey, humanoid, should dich sehen. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think so. I don't get to practice my German very often. Auf Wiedersehen. So this is, well, we'll see. This is, here, the title should tell you something. Bombshell video reveals Biden administration transporting illegal immigrants. They're transporting them? Oh my God, who needs a coyote? Joe will put you in an electric truck and drive you across the border all by himself. What in the heavens? What could it possibly? It couldn't be that these are the people who have been vetted and have sponsorship either by family members or NGOs to apply for citizenship based on an asylum claim. And some of the flights happen during the day, others happen at night. A lot of the ones that happen at night are so that nutcase right-wingers don't follow these poor people and threaten their lives because they think they're going to all vote. We'll get to that in a moment. I don't know what's going to be said in this video. I have some general ideas what I think will probably be said. We'll see. We'll find out. I'm very excited. So this is from Fox News, Fox Business. And who else is on there? Florida Rep. Brian Mast and Texas Rep. Pete Sessions react to supply chain crisis, the southern border issues, and predict whether former President Trump will run in 2024. So, wait, so the gotcha video isn't enough? I don't think Steve Juicy is going to be there. Peter Juicy. Quit. Oh, God. Yeah, there's 407 people already in the chat. Join in, spread the show, share it. Here we go. Let's go. This is starting away, and it's going to be fun. Here we go.
Joining us, Congressman Pete Sessions from House Financial Services, along with Congressman Brian Mast from House Transportation and Infrastructure. Congressman,
why are you saluting someone on Fox Business?
Your reaction to what you just heard. Americans.
It's good to be here on Good Morning America. The America's in the title, so I call it that. Fox Business. I'm not saluting the Fox. I'm saluting what the Fox say. Jesus.
More are asking who's in charge.
Joe Biden is president of the United States. He has a team of advisors around him. They make decisions. They give him the best piece of information. Some of them differ on what they think the path should be forward, and then he makes the decision. And Kamala Harris gets assigned certain projects that she gets to oversee because that's part of how a president and vice president has traditionally worked in a White House. Oh, I don't know, never mind.
Well, who's in charge are the Democrats, and who's in charge of the
Well, that's true.
Democrats is actually a philosophy much like Jimmy Carter, but more.
Oh, you mean to like build homes for the poor and provide for people? And you mean the Jimmy Carter we all now know and love? Oh, no. You mean the Jimmy Carter that created twice as many jobs while he was president than Trump did with fewer people in the country? You mean that Jimmy Carter? You mean that decent, good Christian man, Jimmy Carter? That guy? The guy who supported Israel on all technical measures more than Trump did, which supposedly you guys give a shit about?
Akin to socialism moving further left. They are all.
How do you move further left than social? I guess it's just communism, right? Mark, this straight up, like, there's got to be something further off. Anarcho-syndicalist, I can't even fucking say it. Dennis, how do you say it? We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune.
Socialist based. They're trying to up each.
Hold on. Wait a second, dum-dum. So it's socialists moving further left to their socialist base.
Left. They are all socialist based. They're trying to up each other, whether you're in California or New York. Everybody wants to one up each other on how.
I see. It's a big socialism leg wrestle. And how's Biden do that? By reshoring factories. You know, private companies that never mind.
Or left, they can take their policies. So the policies that we have, exactly like the model of Jimmy Carter that started high inflation, poor.
High inflation in the late 70s was caused by oil prices, which had to do with OPEC intentionally choking the United States. And it has nothing to do with what's going on right now. Like, literally, if there's an example that you know fuck all about monetary policy and America's place in the world's economic structure, it's that. With 1970, when washing machines were the most complicated thing in your house, television sets, and Atari 2600. Keep talking, dummy. Well, it didn't work. What's happening?
Understanding of affairs of international, not understanding our military, and misusing America's good name.
Oh, yes, we're taking America's name in vain. Sometimes I'll stub my toe and go, United States! And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I have to go over and rub my penis on a flag like our Lord and Savior Donald Trump.
You know, to the congressman's point, Congressman Mast, Americans are seeing the footage coming in, right? And again, they're saying, who's in charge? Let's listen to this leaked footage from August 2021. Federal contractors that...
the leaked footage. No, this is not leaked footage. This footage is shot and put out. Also, keep your eye on his body cam footage, and we're putting it up here. Like, okay, what's the contractor there? It's a DHS contractor, I think. What are you there for? You're there to watch these people get off the thing and make sure nobody makes a break for it and yada yada. We'll get to why they won't in a minute, more than likely, if it's the same footage I'm talking about. Well, we'll just watch it. Let's see if you think the person who shot this, and while they were shooting it, and the narrative that they were shooting is apolitical, just, hey man, I'm just telling it like it is.
Airport in Westchester where illegals are being flown in. Watch this.
Well, no, you don't know that for sure. You know migrants are being flown in, but if they're sponsored for citizenship, or they're being caretaken because they are underage, for example, they are not illegal at that point. There is a legal process by which you may have crossed, but your asylum claim was seen as valid, and then you get moved to a place where you get to wait until you have a full hearing. So you are technically, while a migrant, legal at this point. Once the government says, yeah, we're going to fly you from here to here, you are now here legally. You are under their care. So these are legal migrants currently. Whether they get to stay is a part of a legal proceeding. But it sort of falls in that innocent until proven guilty zone, which these fuckers don't care about.
I used to pick up basketball teams that had more security. 100%.
Well, yeah, but that's because none of these people are going to run because they want to stay. Where the fuck do you think they're going to go, dummy? They're in the pipeline. Also, we'll get to some of the details.
And very easily.
They could go this way. And I mean, I know it's my job to watch, but I mean, I don't give a fuck.
Few people could just go that way.
None of them are. Weird. Why don't you go, they could just run that way. But curiously, they're following the rules.
So I'm here to see where they're coming from. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's slowly coming together. But we also don't know, really what's happening.
Oh, all right. How they're getting here, whatever else. We don't know what's happening, how they're getting here, whatever else. We don't know any of the fucking details. But here's a bunch of people getting off a plane that are vaguely brown. So clearly.
Here, whatever else.
I mean, why are you not... oh, by the way, they have an edit there. Why aren't you just stopping the video right at... We don't really know what the fuck is going on. But I would like to say for the record that I believe...
I get the whole secrecy and all this shit, but this is even above my thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like odd that this is where in New York, that when you take a flight, when a flight leaves the Arizona, for example, and flies east, you lose some time. Depending on where you are in that state, 3 hours. And so if you would have taken a flight that in time 3 o'clock would have landed at 6, put you in at 9 o'clock in fucking winter when it's dark at 8. What time is this? 6:55? What the fuck? Is that their time on this? Time on the vest, or how much time they have left in the, this is how much recording time he has left. Doesn't say. It does not say. So, right after sundown, essentially. Yeah, that's true, Fish Delight. Time is the same everywhere. It's an illusion.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Like, fuck, look at these. I mean, people getting off of fucking, hey, you know what I mean? I'm glad we're getting to the bottom of this. This is the gotcha video, by the way.
And why? You know why?
You know why?
You know why? Because Biden's in office. I mean, come on, man. Socialists. Hey, why do you think we're going to record this and put it out even though it doesn't show any fucking thing? What are we seeing in this footage right now? What are we seeing? Are we seeing a bunch of migrants getting off like military-age men going, Allahu Akbar? You know, like, that doesn't sound like Spanish. Getting onto a fucking bus and being like, here's your free healthcare pack. Just fill out. You don't even have to fill it out. Just check a couple of boxes. If you need someone to check the boxes for you, we have a tax-paid official here who will fill you in. Like, what we're seeing? We're seeing a dark fucking hangar, a bus, another private jet that's somebody else's sitting over there being either towed to and from a hangar. And then there's like 15 fucking people.
Yeah, I know, but why? Yeah.
Come on.
No, but what's the big secret? Everybody knows it's happening.
You know why?
It's not a big secret, dum-dum, other than the fact that assholes like you might get these people killed. They're invading our country. I mean, look at all Tucker every fucking night. This is on Fox Business. It's an invasion. What's the difference between Russia amassing tanks and anti-aircraft missiles and mortars on the Ukrainian border and 8-year-olds being dropped over Trump's wall at thud? What's the difference? What's the difference between a scud and a kid, honestly, in this point? Yes, because if this gets out, the government is betraying the American people. And by the way, it doesn't say who this fucking guy is. I don't know why we should take his opinion seriously. And what the fuck does the fact that a flight coming west to east lands after dark have to do with fucking anything? And wait till we see who's on the plane, because I've actually seen this story around a lot.
Did you hear that, Congressman Massa?
Did you hear that? Just betraying? They're betraying the American people. Dear Lord. Oh, dear Lord. The betrayal. Hey, man, you guys are betraying our flag. And me and my fellow flaggots are not going to participate in this. This ain't right. The CINSA is flying in lizard people pilots with these baby-eating Democrats are flying in fresh Mexicans so they can drink their spine juice. Get on it. Come on, man. Tell them what's up.
Is betraying the American people. If this is all okay, right? If this is about transparency, why these secret flights in the dead of night?
I'll tell you why, because if I knew where they lived, man, I'd go over and I'd start yelling the only Spanish I know. And I learned it from an episode of Chips that they took off the air for some reason.
Increasingly ask, who's in charge? What's going on here? Your reaction?
Yeah.
Because it's not okay. That's why they're saying it. We can't give Joe Biden.
I'm not okay. You're not okay. It ain't okay. Who are these people? Where are they going? Who even knows? Who's going to find out? Who can tell us? It's terrible. Come on, man. What is happening? I got to find. Hold on. I got to look up. Oh, dear God. What is this footage showing us? Oh, no. Y'all are going to have to help me out with this. Reading is not my strong suit. I'm much more of I aced semaphore at summer camp. By then, secretly flinging underage migrants into in the deed of nigget. Something like that. Anyways, y'all get it. You can see it. Y'all know what it says. What happens here? Well, I bet we're going to find out a bunch of stuff in here. I'm going to have to bring in a reader. Give me a second. I'll bring the reader back in. Hi. It's very hard for Ficus to do this. Remember what we, So it turns out on that plane, largely children. By the way, notice illegal immigrant doesn't show up here because it says underage migrants, because they are now legally under the care of us, the American people, who, by the way, these assholes suggest we should let rot in the desert, not our kids. Fuck them. Pro-life. Plane loads of underage migrants are being flown secretly into suburban New York in an effort by President Biden's administration to quietly resettle them across the region, the Post has learned. Dun, dun, dun! Underage migrants. What's another word for underage migrant? No Matt Gaetz answers. I'm going to go with children. And if you're Matt Gaetz, the recently fuckable, but not for the rest of us. The charter flights originated in Texas. It depends on which part of Texas. 2-hour distance, and then they 3-4 hour flight, and then 3+ thing. And if they leave in the afternoon, after they school the kids or something like that, and they put them in the thing to transport them there, and the people have to be arranged to pick them up. They got to organize that. That would get them in after dark. Charter flights originate in Texas, where the ongoing border crisis has overwhelmed local immigration officials and have been underway since at least August, according to sources familiar with the matter. You know that whole thing where we don't want to keep kids crammed into cages? I mean, the Trump administration was like, why would we even bother to fix that? It's a feature, not a bug. Here we go. This is Last week, the Post saw 2 planes land in Westchester County Airport, where most of the passengers got off appeared to be, what's that word? Children and teens, with a small portion appearing to be men in their 20s. Those are the people traveling with them from the government. Westchester County cops stood by as the passengers, the children, whose flights arrived at 10:49 Wednesday and 9:52 Friday because they left in the afternoon. Jesus. Got off and piled into buses. Piles of illegal children. Some of them were later seen up meeting with... Oh, what's this? What's this part? What's this? You fucking garbage pieces of shit, idiot, moron. I can't even start. How did they not... Oh... If the Post can even list this, these assholes can't even look that up. They are children. They have relatives in the States. They are abandoned or dropped over the wall or abandoned in the fucking desert. And we find them and we're like, I don't know, kind of a brown kid. Chuck them back over the wall, for America. And with their relatives or sponsors in New Jersey or being dropped off at a residential facility on Long Island, residential facility being the Catholic Charities. A post-analysis of online flight tracking data suggests around 2,000 of the underage migrants. 2,000? I was promised millions. How long do we have to wait for 2,000? That's a fifth of the Arizona. We should have left them in Arizona to turn 18 quickly. Can we grow them fast? Can we put Miracle Grow on these kids so they can be Dem voters by 2024? They're fucking 9. Have arrived at the airport outside White Plains since August 8th. So since August, 2,000 children who were dropped over the border or abandoned or whatever. And these pro-life folks are like, not our problem. Dump them in Juarez. And this is the footage. This is it. Now, the interesting thing about this is they'll show you, this is the same charts they're talking about. Unaccompanied migrant kids land in Westchester dead at night, surge due to dangerous illegal border crossings. The surge of 2,000 kids since August. It's fucking January. And those kids were processed a while back. So they've been in Arizona or Texas for a while. Records show some of the planes touched down between midnight and 6:30 a.m. when a voluntary curfew is in fact, it's totally a secret. To get the secret Democrat plan to get a bunch of 12-year-olds in here so we can brainwash them into voting Democrat in 2030. If their family doesn't, like the family that absorbs it, yeah, this is our grandkid, sure, they can stay. Or, no, this isn't our kid, and we found their mom and they're in Guatemala, we're sending them back, which happens all the fucking time. It's what's supposed to happen. With 2 arriving from Houston, 2:13 a.m. and 4:29 a.m. Oh, dear God. Under cover of night. The clandestine nature, you mean the nighttime nature of the operation raises questions about how the White House is dealing with a recent surge in unaccompanied minors. Yeah, all 2,000 of them. There's 340 million people in this fucking country. Recent surge of 2,000 kids in, oh God. Most recent figures show that just during July and August, 37,805 unaccompanied minors were caught entering the U.S. from Mexico, sometimes after being abandoned by professional smugglers known as coyotes. And videos show some children dropped over the border wall or abandoned in remote areas. Now, therefore, what would be your solution, right-wing America? An 8-year-old dropped over the wall, but for a couple of sprained ankles and a mild concussion is okay. And now it's wandering without water in a desert, and it's too big to fit back through the slats in the slat fence. So I guess the Republican model is chuck it back over the wall, or, what do they want, a slingshot or something? Hold on one second. Right? What do you do? What do you do with those folks? Hey, man, I'll tell you what you do. You send them down to Florida, and that buddy, if anybody knows how to ask Nestor. Just tell him Matt sent you. No. No. It's not right. Come on. Oh, sorry. This is the wrong one. Yeah, it is. Come on. Matt Gaetz knows what to do with these kids. He'd take them in, if you know what I'm saying. No. The answer is no. Quit it. Come on, man. I'm just having a bit of fun. No. All right. Free Nestor. So, yeah. And there it is. There's a source familiar with the Operation Westchester was said the underage migrants typically arrive carrying backpacks and are bused to locations including Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, upstate Newburgh, Bridgeport, and Danbury, and Connecticut. Typically. All 2,000 of them, typically. Meanwhile, every airport in the New York area has millions of people coming going. How are business people typically brought into in the millions? Right. But these 2,000 kids, clutch the pearls. Around 12:30 a.m. Saturday, it stopped at Syosset, Long Island, at the campus of Mercy First. Oh, a non-profit sponsored by the Catholic Sisters of Mercy that provides housing and services for children and adolescents who are the victims of societal problems. One of those societal problems might be that someone from your society dropped you into ours and you cannot feed yourself. But tell me again how Party of Pro-Life, please. Party of Pro-Life, please continue.
Asked to say the question, who is in charge? He is in charge. He's the chief executive officer of the United States of America, of every federal.
No, that's business CEO talk. It's dumb. He's more important than that.
Agency, to include Customs and Border Patrol and every other agency out there. The buck is supposed to stop with him. He says it does. We know, in fact, he shifts the blame off every time he can. But let's tie this one back to supply chain real quick, right? CBP, we know there's not nearly enough CBP workers in the ports and other places where there are those log jams, and all those goods coming in from overseas need to be checked out. How about we take those CBP officers, and instead of them moving people around the country illegally, they go to work in the ports to help solve the.
Well, because they're trained for different things. This is what this asshole is suggesting. Why don't we take the bomb sniffing dogs off the areas where the bombs come in and put them where the drugs come in? And then we'll take the drug sniffing dogs and put them where the bombs come in. What could possibly go wrong? What are we talking about? The guys who are experts in checking packages and are good at, dismantling or dealing with things that come in shipping crates, and put them out on a fucking ATV in the middle of the desert sweating their ass off. You ever ridden a horse before? Fuck no, I'm from Long Beach. Hop on, asshole.
Supply chain crisis.
Interesting.
That would be a solution.
That sounds like something Republicans are going to try to push for a Congressman session.
Why? It's dumb.
If you guys come back into control of Congress, I want.
No. I know everybody's likes to pearl clutch about this. Yes, there are horses in Long Beach. Not at the docks, though, I would like to say, Flame Doodle, just for the record.
Move on to this, because this is a terrible story.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're not going to bring up the fact that those were minor children and that the Post did a whole story about it? And you know that footage is from the same thing? That same fucking flight? Same hangar? Same everything? You know those were children. You're not going to bring that up. He's not going to bring it up. And why is he not going to bring it up? Why are these assholes not going to bring up that those flights had children on them? Because they would have to answer, what the fuck do you do with the children? What do you do with them? You don't want them here. You don't want them sent to NGOs like the Catholic Sisters of Mercy, or to sponsors, or to their family members. You don't want them sent. You find out who they are. You get them connected. They go through the whole fucking process. They send them to their family. You don't want that done? What do you want done? Tell us. Because what it is leave them in the desert. That's what they'd have to come to. Not our problem. It's NIMBY about child deaths. I don't care, is what they would have to say. So they're not going to go. They can't even address the reality of the flights. If you have a problem with migrant children being flown in, sponsored by the Catholic charities, sponsored by family members, sponsored by NGOs, and processed and either stay here with relatives, get adopted because nobody knows where the fuck they're from, or they go, oh yeah, we found your mom and she's still in Guatemala, or your parents are there, we're going to put you on a flight, because we do those all the time too. They're not tracking those flights though. They're not tracking the flights that fly people back to Haiti, fly people back to Guatemala and Honduras and all that. They're not even bothering with that. Those flights go out all the time too. You think they're out there with a body cam for those? No. Yes, you're right, Jacqueline. They do not care. And she is protecting them by keeping them from having to answer that question. That's it. And if you're against these kids coming in and going through this process, explain yourself. It's okay. I mean, you're awful, and I obviously think you're morally bankrupt as a human being, but you can make that argument. You can go, we don't have enough. They got too much. Send them back to wherever. It's the Mexican government's problem, even though they speak Portuguese or something.
Coming out of Houston, 3 more cops shot in a gunfight. Got information coming into the studio that the suspect who is on the run, he had a full-on automatic weapon. Immigration officials...
Well, yeah. He had a full-on automatic weapon, for America.
Confirming the man accused of shooting to death the deputy constable in Harris County outside Houston, he was an illegal immigrant. We've got former President Trump. He's going to a rally outside Houston this weekend. The questions are growing. Is he going to?
By the way, outside Houston, because he can't get a venue in Houston because he keeps stiffing all the contractors everywhere he goes. He doesn't pay the venue fees. He doesn't pay security. He doesn't pay the city. And so they won't let him do it. So he's fucking on this barnyard tour.
Let's listen to former President Trump. Watch this.
First on T, 45th president of...
How much of this footage are we going to watch? What's happening? You're cutting to this? What is happening? Honestly.
States.
45th and 47th.
47th. Yes. I love that. Mister.
45th and...
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's that easy. No.
7th, your reaction?
Well, the reaction's really quite natural, and that is that Mr. Trump is doing a lot of things right now to counterbalance not just what Mr. Biden is saying, but speaking about things that were previously handled and handled well.
Oh, you mean like Operation Warp Speed? Sorry.
Captain's log.
Sorry.
Captain's log.
There you go.
Line is this year we're going to win back the House of Representatives. And I think when the Senate, winning back Congress, will hold the president accountable. We will ask the questions. We will get the answers that we need. But this president and...
To ask one of the questions. Questions like... Supply chain. You mean shit that's been going on for 20 years and we're reshoring most of our manufacturing of crucial items. We'll still buy cheap stuff from overseas, but most of the stuff we need for telecommunications, computers, DoD stuff, and personal electronics will largely be made in the United States. And then if there's any assembly, it'll be done largely in Mexico because they have the youngest demographic in the North American territories. Something like that.
The House and the Senate, Speaker Pelosi, are trying to move this country as far left as they can. Even
dude, you already said that part. You don't even know what it means.
When the American people disagree with them.
Yeah, and Congressman Mast, if you question them on that, you're called a racist, right? Or you're called a white supremacist.
Question them on what? Trump running and calling them a socialist? The fuck? Oh my God, how dare you ask me about monetary policy, racist? What? About which part? I don't even know what the fuck the dude said.
Americans more and more are seeing what's going on with crime in U.S. cities, right? We've got 22 cities, 44% rise in homicides since 2019. New York City, cops visibly stricken with grief on camera at a vigil and a wake for 2 cops shot dead, Jason Rivera and Wilbert Mora. The president is going to meet with the New York Democrat mayor next week. We've got new data coming in. 4 out of 10 criminals freed without bail under the Democrats' bail reform were rearrested.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Democrats' bail reform? I'm sorry, was there a bill that went through the House or the Senate? Was there a bill that went through the legislature on bail reform? Or is this the choice of most localized DAs that were elected in those areas? Because I don't know if you noticed, but Biden won the election, not the people who were running on defund the police and all that stuff. You do recognize it. Kamala Harris is his VP. But I mean, honestly, in the beginning of that whole primary setup, where it looked like they were going to be the, where I said they were going to be the ticket, and I was right. Trump was planning on running against Biden because of the crime bill, and Kamala being too tough on crime for lefties, and they were going to try to make the base hate them, and it didn't work.
Committing more crimes, nearly 1 out of 4 were rearrested on dangerous felony charges. Your response to that?
Yeah, these are the progressive windsock policies that Joe Biden is following. Let's defund.
No, he isn't. And they're going to throw up defund the police. Biden's against it. Have you seen Cory Booker's statement about the Senate bill? Good Lord.
Police, let's bring an end to bail. Let's go out there and say anytime that a law enforcement officer responds to an issue, the number one thing that we're going to jump to is, was that a racist action, instead of, was somebody committing a crime, and was the officer doing what he was hired by the city, by the municipality,
or she,
whatever, to do. Go out there and protect the people that aren't breaking the law.
Thank you, Congressman Pete Sessions and
thank you for that straw man, is what she's saying.
Congressman Mass, it's good to have you both on.
Yeah, it's nice to have you on to talk about this, so you can present the idea that Democrats don't care about cops, falsely, while you guys don't give a rat's ass about children abandoned in the desert while running on a pro-life ticket. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. There's a bunch of this shit around. This is Greg Kelly, who apparently, we know he has emotional problems. We know he's the most miserable man on the internet. This is the images Joe and Kamala don't want you to see. Dear God. Why is this page not running? Open back up, silly. Here you go.
The United States government right now is contracting
same shit.
Aircraft to fly migrants who are coming in illegally from the southern border all
oh my God, illegal children
over the country. They're fanning them out all over the country.
Yes, it's part of a risk strategy. They're doing like Monopoly. They're putting little underage migrants as are the houses, the adults are the hotels, and then they can charge double rent.
This is suburban New York City, Westchester County.
That plane did not land in the middle of suburban. That's an airport, Greg.
Loads of migrants being flown up here. Now, when the cops showed up, because they're doing this in the middle of the night, the cops started asking questions. Who are you? What are you doing? It's pretty.
When the cops showed up.
Wild what happened next. The guys who are doing this, they know that it's wrong, but they have their orders.
Oh, by the way, let's.
What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too shabby. Where's this going tonight?
No. Actually, it's up to them. I don't know.
You're on a secure facility here, and we don't really know anything. We're in charge of security.
So not cops?
Hence where we're having a problem here.
Yeah, we're hanging out here on the tarmac, like that.
My thing is, I like to comply. You know what I'm saying? I comply.
Easy.
Yeah. Technically, we're not supposed to show IDs or anything like that. Like I said, everything's supposed to be hush-hush.
Everything's supposed to be hush-hush. We can't even show you our IDs. These are contractors contracted by the federal government, bringing these people here.
So they're not supposed to tell rando fucking security guards where people are going. You don't have the right to know. You're not police officers.
I haven't had a conversation about this. Where are the congressional hearings? There's more.
We don't tell them where we're going. Like I said, a lot of this is just...
No, I get it. I just, like I said...
stuff that we don't tell people. Because what we don't want to do is attract attention. We don't want the media.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even know where we're going when they tell us.
Yeah.
I get the whole secrecy and all this.
Yeah, and then they cut to the other stuff. Like, yeah, dum-dum, none of your goddamn business. Because these folks leak that stuff and they're like, there's a bunch of illegals up here in Westchester. Let's go get them. That's the fear. And then you got a bunch of nutcases standing on the lawn of the Catholic Charities.
But this is even above my
Again, by the way, for the record, what you're seeing here is Newsmax and specifically Greg Kelly advocating for the abandonment of children in a desert without resources.
And why? You know why?
You know why.
Yeah, I know, but why? Yeah.
Come on.
No, but what's the big secret? Everybody knows it's happening.
You know why? Because if it gets out,
same shit we saw before.
The government is betraying the American people. One of the contractors said that to a police.
No, to a security
guard.
And
they don't want media.
No, he didn't. They didn't say, we're the police, we're Westchester County, we're identifying ourselves. They're security guards. They do not have a right to know. They were cleared for landing, fucko.
They don't have to worry because the media aren't asking questions about this. That ridiculous 2 hours.
Well, actually, they are, dum-dum. New York Post did a whole article about it. Followed 2 of the planes. There's the actual pictures. Same shit we're seeing, Greg. And what did they find out when they asked questions about these migrants? They were largely, if not entirely, children. You know, those things Matt Gaetz likes to dope and have sex with, allegedly.
Press conference where Joe Biden lost it. Not one question. Not one question about the border situation.
That's because they were talking about other stuff.
And this issue, which is, I think they're trying to redefine America. And Joe just stands there smiling.
Redefine America? Greg, how little must you think of the United States that you think 2,000 kids to the New York area, children, taken in by the Catholic charities, by nuns, NGOs, and their own families since August, 38,000 in total nationwide, taken in by charities and all this, and either returned back to their country of origin, or kept with family members here, or adopted because they are strictly a lost child, like you find them in a boat floating in the middle of the ocean. What are you going to do? It's not a problem. Push it towards Japan. Kind of nonsense. So this is Greg Kelly and Newsmax arguing for the abandonment of children.
It's an aggressive smile. What's up?
Look, an aggressive smile. Wait. Wait, what? An aggressive smile? I mean, honestly.
America. And Joe just stands there smiling, passive-aggressive smile. What's up with those teeth, by the way?
A passive-aggressive smile. What's up with those teeth? He uses them to chew shit, Dumbo. Trump gets his teeth changed every 18 months because he doesn't like to floss or some shit. So he just gets new veneers. Fucking hell.
Are they original teeth? It's not original hair. I don't think it's original teeth either. Back to those.
Jesus Christ, dude, really? You're a Trump lover. You want to go there?
They put them on buses. They're being driven to cities all over the place, including Long Island, New York. Now, on Long Island, there's a place called Mercy First. It's a facility.
What do they do? Is the federal... Look at this art. Look at the fucking title. Is the federal government arming MS-13? Look at the 3 question marks. Like, did they just fucking tweet this shit out? With what? 8-year-olds?
That houses migrants, and they've been running away for a long time. All kinds of reports of shoddy treatment and runaway kids. This is a problem.
Long Island Foster Home sees foster home. That's not a foster home. The Sisters of Mercy isn't a foster home.
And right near Mercy First is a place called Brentwood.
Right near it. I see.
Long Island, which happens to be the headquarters of MS-13 in...
Oh, that's where they're going. So the 8-year-olds that get dropped over the wall are flown to Mercy First so that they can wait till they're 9 to go join MS... Do you have to be 13 to join MS-13? Do you need? Is there at 12? Can you get an MS-13 learner's permit?
With America, this has been documented. This has been reported on. There were problems.
MS-13 gang. It's been documented on that they're there. The fuck does that have to do with the Sisters of Mercy?
So bad that actually Donald Trump went to Brentwood while he was president to talk about this.
It's if you know something's bad if Donald Trump shows up.
Very issue.
MS-13 gang members have brutally murdered 17 beautiful young lives in.
Yeah, but arguably, according to Greg, those lives shouldn't have been here in the first place. I mean, they're probably here illegally. Look at them. So, I mean, according to Greg, maybe we should hire MS-13. Is that the theory?
This area on Long Island alone. Think of it. They butchered those little girls. They kidnap, they extort, they rape, and they rob. They prey on children. They shouldn't be here.
A lot of them are Americans, dum-dum. MS-13 started here. The vast majority of the members are American citizens, as awful as you might think they are. And they are. MS-13, they're awful, but they're Americans largely. Secondly, the kids they're kidnapping and butchering are the kind that Greg says we should just leave in the desert. I don't want the Greg Kelly plan. I don't want them chopped up. I just want, to stumble over their, have a guy in an ATV roll over their carcass in a few weeks.
All right, I know some people don't like the tweets, don't like the style or whatever, but this is what you want.
Yeah, but it's way better than a passive-aggressive smile.
From an American president. Forget the...
Why? Honestly, MS-13's a bad gang, but there's a bunch of gangs. He artificially inflated them because he thought they were all from South America, because we exported MS-13 to South America and they've grown there, and so they have a relationship. But they started here. There's lots of gangs here. He gave them the best press they ever got. They're like, we're in the president's mouth. We're the gang he talks about. They grew because of this bullshit.
If you don't like him, I happen to like him, but forget that for a moment.
Do you like his fake hair and his fake teeth?
This is what a president is supposed to do. Not this. Make good on these ridiculous promises from the campaign.
I would do as president is several more things, because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Yeah, that's not economic migrants. That's not people who are just coming. They're literally talking about asylum seekers. And they wouldn't even process the asylum seekers. And hence, a lot of the asylum situation, because Trump wouldn't process them, the kids are going, well, I might die, but my kid might have a chance.
So, if you do that stuff, Donald Trump is right. We may not have a country for all that much longer. A country.
Thanks for the definition. That's adorable.
Region, a territory, or a large tract of land distinguishable by features of topography, biology, culture. Yeah, a country. We're losing it if we continue on this path.
Yes, if these children come over here and grow up as Americans.
Nation without borders is not a nation.
You have to do something to secure the border. We don't have a country without a border. Without a border, we just don't have a country.
They're coming in illegally.
We've heard this. We do have a secure border.
Drugs are pouring in through the border. We have no country if we have no border.
And our culture is...
And again, another straw man. The assertion isn't that we have a border. It's that there's a difference between economic migrants, people trying to sneak in to commit crimes, for example, or people who are seeking asylum. And we, as a country, morally have an obligation to figure out which is which. Trump's just like, anybody brown, stay on that side.
The definition of a country. And that, I mean, that's in shambles. Nobody agrees on anything anymore. Our founding fathers.
No. Nobody agrees on anything anymore. Murder's a crime, right? Murder's a crime. Everybody good with murder being a crime? How about rape? Rape's a crime? Yep, good. Armed robbery, so it's a crime? That's good. Okay, we agree on that. That's good. How about infrastructure? How about was what happened to that bridge in Pittsburgh bad? I think we all agree on that. Oh, and the border stuff is because they can't talk about the economy because the economic news is good.
Have been villainized and demonized and canceled. This is insane. This is not what a healthy country does. And certainly our...
Yeah, healthy countries don't argue and try to find their path forward using the best of their past and trying to recognize the bad parts so that they don't repeat them.
Reaction and overcorrect.
Yes, I agree. Carjacking and negative. I think we agree on that as well.
To what happened to George Floyd. It's a sick country. I wish George Floyd was alive. I wish that did not happen to him. I also wish that he did not.
Can I say for the record, and by the way, two-tier justice system in action. What the fuck does that mean? Secondly, this started off about a plane load of illegals being peppered across the country, which are children, but he's not bringing that up at all. What he's saying is they get flown to a Catholic charity where they wait a little while and then go join MS-13 so they can chop people up, and then George Floyd.
Live a criminal life. I wish that Officer Chauvin did not do what he did. I also wish that...
By the way, it's a terrible picture of Officer Chauvin. It'd be very hard to describe him to police or in a...
The Minneapolis police manual did not say you could put a knee on a neck. I also wish there was some consistency in those autopsy findings. The reaction to what happened here.
Again, what the fuck? Greg, stay on point, dude. Have you taken Tucker Carlson's master class? Focus.
Is almost breaking the country. Now, in the immediate aftermath, you remember the looting, the...
Yeah, I remember that during Trump was president. Remember that? Remember when Trump was president? I remember when Trump was president.
Arson all over the place.
That's what I remember it looking like. Anybody remember what it looked like when Trump was president last year in office? It looked a bit like that.
Now, some of these people are being sentenced, just a few, not many, for their deeds on that day.
Hundreds.
Or that series of days, months, really. This is a building, a shopping center, I believe, that was torched in Minneapolis. Here's the guy responsible. He did it. They have the proof.
You know how they said he has an aura? What? Give it to me, baby. Right.
He's convicted, and now it's time to send him to jail. All right? He torched a supermarket. Guess what?
Not a supermarket.
There was a person inside, a man named Oscar. And he was found 2 months later in the basement. So, man committed arson, individual lost his life. Where does our country stand on this? What are we recommending as a country? Well, the position of the United States with respect to sentencing, official documents, the position of our prosecutors who represent the United States is the following, all right? It's pretty wild. Number one, he was in the streets to protest unlawful police violence against black men. All right, going on. You see, they're mitigating the whole thing. Mr. Lee acknowledges that he could have demonstrated it in a different way, but that he was caught up in the fury of the mob after living as a black man, watching his peers suffer at the hands of police. Mr. Lee states that he checked the building before he set the fire to make sure no one would be hurt. If true, they haven't been able to determine that, this is at least some small measure of precaution. And finally, they bring Martin Luther King into it. Even the great American advocate for nonviolence and social justice, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., stated that we've got to see that a riot is the language.
Hold on. They overtyped this. U.S. District Court, District of Minnesota. Well, we'll see if they show up what they actually. BLM arson is compared to MLK. No, they didn't. They talked about the riots in general.
Of the unheard. Now, again, this is not from his defense attorneys. This is from the federal government, federal prosecutors explaining all this away. By the way, I very much doubt that social justice was on Mr. Lee's mind. It is a matter of fact, understood in academia, that rioting is seldom about the actual issue that the media reports. Rioting mainly for fun and profit. That's from the
from the Unheavenly City, a book that clearly states exactly what happened. When did this book come out? Before George Floyd situation? Okay.
City by Edward
Chapter 9. Explaining the riots tended to justify them. All right.
Anfield, a classic in academia. Explaining the riots tended to justify them. And they document how most people just kind of like running around and breaking things and stealing stuff.
Yeah, that's how people are. You know what I mean? It's just how people are. Like, they just wait, hoping for the next George Floyd. Fucking hell.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff was not about George Floyd. There are fewer and fewer people.
Yeah, really? You're just going to say that unequivocally? Yeah, they didn't. This is not about. Remember, this started off with a plane full of migrant children.
Able and willing to talk about some of the things we're talking about right now.
That's it. That's the fucking it. That's it. And again, I would like to remind you that they all think that this footage is the gotcha. This is the shizel. Hold on. This stuff. I mean, they're playing it all over the place. And nothing. Like, it's usually we have to wait a couple of weeks for a right-wing talking point to die. This one just like shot it. It just did itself in. All right, here we go. This is Glenn Beck. Donald Trump, secret Biden deals complicate Russia-Ukraine response. Ooh, insider knowledge, I'm sure. Something about Hunter Biden laptop. Something along those lines, you think?
Mr. President.
Former president.
Glenn.
How are you, sir? Thank you so much for joining us. Good.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
Are we going? Is Russia going into Ukraine, and what does it mean for us?
Well, I think, first of all, I know how you feel about it, but first of all, this is something that never would have happened. This is not
never. No.
Possibility.
I would have just given them Ukraine.
This is
we're so busy undercutting them, they wouldn't have had to invade.
Lack of respect for him and for our country, and it's a disaster. Now, whether they go...
You do realize they're not invading our country. You do realize that.
Or not. Maybe Putin doesn't even know, because I really think he wasn't going to go in. But after watching a couple of those press conferences and the statements that he's going in, like routinely, I think he figures, well, nobody's going to stop him. As I've been saying, NATO is a paper tiger because it's going to break up anytime it has a challenge. It really never had a challenge until this. And you see Germany breaking up and others breaking up. They don't want to fight. And all that.
Yes, they're breaking up. I don't know if you know that, but it's now they've broken up into the Germanic tribal territories, Bavaria, where the pretzels are all made, and then of course the quasi-Roman territories left over that are mostly, I think, werewolves run it. I'm fairly certain.
Is spent on NATO from the United States. Before I got there, Glenn, they were in my opinion, the United States was paying 100% the cost of NATO. They were all.
In my opinion. Just for the record, it was no one's opinion that we were. It's just a material fact. Since it's his opinion, this is the guy who actually got to see the numbers. Literally He could have seen the entire budget of NATO. He could have sat there over a fucking weekend, which I know not everyone is as wonky as I am. I would have done as president, just thinking about it. Just like, hey, get me the entire budget of NATO with everybody kicking in. I want to see the gear. I want it broken down. I want people from the DOD to give me a presentation on strategically the number of everything, where the cash goes, where the cash flows.
Delinquent. Other than 8 countries that were delinquent, they weren't.
Other than 8 countries, they were delinquent. You mean 3 of them were after 2008?
They weren't paying anywhere near what they were supposed to be paying by agreement.
Because of 2008 and the recovery, and we gave them a break. Jesus
so
Christ.
NATO is looking like it's seen better days, and it's just.
But by the way, how is this different from what Putin is saying?
I think maybe Putin was just trying to negotiate, and he's a good negotiator.
Yeah, he's just a good negotiator. That's why he's massing troops, just like he did the last time he fucking invaded.
And he's dealing with people that don't.
What makes me think he didn't? Because he's still talking about it. In my opinion, 100% of them were delinquent. It wouldn't be an opinion. You could just say, I looked at it. You know, dozens of countries that you'd be able to cite it. Just like, I just think they were all blah, blah, blah. He's talking about it like a layman who never gets to look at the shit.
But clue, and I think what's happened is they've just said, go in. We're not going to do anything. We're going to put sanctions on. We're going to sanction you. And I think to take over a country for sanctions maybe isn't such a bad deal for him.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of, because of demographics and other reasons, and also his popularity at home, which does matter some, he also doesn't want to lose 50,000 soldiers taking Ukraine. Because it's one thing to take the Donbass and these kind of areas where they're already kind of leaning Russian, but you move even further and you try to take the capital with the material support that they've gotten from us, from India, from Ireland, from the UK, from France, the drones they've gotten, the anti-missile technology that they've gotten. It's not going to be a walk in the park. So if he's willing to trade that and go, well, what happened? Well, I got the same territory that I basically have and 20,000 dead soldiers. I blew up a bunch of shit, and now I'm sanctioned where I can't even use the international monetary system. Don't worry, we're going to make the ruble the currency, the world currency.
Jeez. So yesterday.
What do you mean? Yes, geez is the proper response, Glenn, when someone says something that dumb when they were actually that close to the information. The problem I have with this more than anything else is that Trump talks about it like anybody on fucking Twitter or anywhere else. Well, I don't know. I think they probably... Motherfucker, you were there. If he hadn't skipped his presidential daily brief every goddamn day, he might actually know some of these details.
CNN was reporting that the president, Biden, called the leader of Ukraine, and it didn't go well, according to Ukrainian officials. And apparently Biden said that Kyiv would be sacked, is I think the quote that they used. Now the Biden administration is saying that's not true. It went great. We had a wonderful conversation, and we never said any of those things. Who do we believe here?
Well, I mean, I'm just glad you're making a move towards believing CNN. I think that's a good start. Just to be clear, the message from Glenn is CNN true, administration false. Whatever CNN says, true. From whatever source they got it from. CNN true, U.S. government false. Just clarify. I know. That's exactly the opposite of what they were saying when Trump was in charge. But all right.
Yeah. Well, they also
it's a move. It's a shift. It's solid. All right.
that, but we might have said it, but they shouldn't have leaked it. You know, it's a bunch of clowns. It's very sad for our country. You know, it all started.
Hold on. Let's take a reference. Let's take a look at what they're CNN. Biden call with Ukraine. Ukrainian official tells CNN Biden's call with Ukrainian president did not go well, but White House disputes account. What Ukrainian official would that be? Let's see. Call between, according to a senior Ukrainian official told CNN, I'm not saying who, but okay, amid disagreements over the risk levels of his, okay. White House, however, disputed the official's account, warning that anonymous sources were leaking falsehoods. They did state that Biden warned Zelensky an imminent invasion is a distinct possibility. On the call, which Ukrainian officials described as long and frank, Biden warned his Ukrainian counterpart that a Russian attack may be imminent, saying that invasion was now virtually certain once the ground had frozen later in February, according to October, because the tanks, the hard ground is better for the tanks, is the idea. Zelensky, however, restated his opinion that the threat from Russia remains dangerous but ambiguous, and it is not certain that an attack will take place, right? He's basically, Biden's like, dude, they're serious this time, because Russia pulls up and pulls back and pulls up and pulls back, and that's how they got in last time. And Biden's like, we're genuinely concerned at this, because Putin has basically boxed himself in on this. It either turns out to be a giant bluff and a waste of everybody's fucking time, or a horrible incursion into another country for no goddamn reason. It's bad. Putin's in a really stupid position that he created apropos of nothing. I mean, out of paranoia, really. National Security spokesman Emily Horn disputed the senior Ukrainian official's description of the call. Anonymous sources leaking falsehood. She told CNN, President Biden said that there is a distinct possibility the Russians could invade Ukraine in February. He said this publicly, and we've been warning about this for months. Reports of anything more or different or that are completely false. The frank discussion between the two leaders comes as the U.S. and NATO continue to brace for the prospect of a Russian invasion. Though they have stressed the need for diplomacy, the White House has warned an invasion could be imminent, with tens of thousands of Russian troops massed on the Ukrainian border. Let me move this over here so you guys can see this a second. The call lasted an hour and 20 minutes Thursday, according to a U.S. national security official, highlighting the extensive issues the two leaders had to discuss amid the Russian troop buildup. The official described the call as long and serious, but productive, as Biden and Zelensky discussed Russia's recent aggressions. Biden told Zelensky that U.S. officials have assessed an invasion could potentially happen in February, but did not say it definitely would. White House says Biden promised U.S. would respond decisively if Russia invades. See, this is the distinction. They were saying, release the transcript. That was hashtagging around about this particular call, which is, I mean, part of Russian propaganda anyways, because they're trying to undermine the Ukrainian government and certainly put distance between the U.S. and the Ukraine. And they want the American people and specifically the Ukrainian people to think that the U.S. and is stiff-arming Ukraine because the leadership of Ukraine is weak and not taking a threat seriously. So it makes the Ukrainian people feel shaky. That's part of what you're seeing. The difference is that all during this, Biden has said, we're backing you. You're going to get all the lethal aid and non-lethal aid that we've been giving and will continue to come. And it's not predicated on anything. It's coming, and it's already been showing up. And we're going to do all these sanctions if he tries it. Don't worry. That's the difference. Whereas Trump was like, do an investigation of Biden for me, or you're not getting any protection from Russia, and they could be in. And at that point, that's where all this stuff started happening. Was this, you get this ball rolling. That's how we get into this business right now. White House readout of the call said that Biden reaffirmed to Zelensky that the United States would respond decisively if Russia further invades Ukraine. Biden also said the U.S. will explore additional macroeconomic support. So, yeah, we're helping them. There was no point in it where he's like, if you don't, and make sure there's no hard drives showing up that Rudy Giuliani can purchase and pretend came from a laptop. If they do, you're not getting any anti-missile defense system to help the Ukrainian economy as a result of Russia's military buildup. President Biden noted that the United States has provided Ukraine with over $500 million in developmental and humanitarian assistance in the last year, and it's exploring additional macroeconomic support to help Ukraine's economy amidst pressure resulting from Russia's military buildup. Spokesperson for Zelensky also disputed the Ukrainian official's characterization of the, okay, all right. Zelensky tweeted that he and Biden had a long call where they discussed recent diplomatic efforts of de-escalation and agreed on joint actions for the future. The Ukrainian president said that he thanked Biden for ongoing military assistance, said possibilities for financial support for Ukraine were also discussed. The senior Ukrainian official, however, told CNN that Biden and Ukraine would not be offered significantly more military help. Yeah, we're giving them what we said we're going to give them, while everybody in NATO is kicking in too. They're lousy with gear at this point as it is. Zelensky urged his American counterpart to calm down the messaging, warning of the economic impact of panic. According to the official, he also said Ukrainian intelligence sees the threat differently. The Ukrainian leader pointed to a recent breakthrough in negotiations with Russia in Paris, saying that he hoped a ceasefire agreement with rebels in eastern Ukraine would be maintained. He also said talks between the U.S., Russia, and NATO still have some distance to run before diplomatic errors. Yeah, they know that's the goal, but they also don't trust Putin because there is no rational reason to invade or pull back. It's up to him. To build up like this and then pull back is just a worthless flex. And might be more of a power grab in Belarus than anywhere else. So, all right. Earlier in the day, another source from the U.S. side said there is a recognition in the White House that Zelensky has multiple audiences and is trying to balance them. On the one hand, he wants assistance, but he has to assure his people he has the situation under control. That's a tricky balance, right? And the Russians are trying to make it look like he can't, he's got no backup and he doesn't know what he's doing. That's their plot, which is where that senior Ukrainian official comes from. Pentagon says Russia buildup is continuing. Yes, and it expanded. We continue to see, including in the last 24 hours, more accumulation of credible combat forces arrayed by the Russians in, again, the western part of the country and in Belarus. Kirby described the buildup as not dramatic, but also not sclerotic. Meaning it's all joined together. And they're not just, we just putting stuff over here because we need someplace to park it. The U.S. is still holding out hope that diplomatic efforts will lead to a de-escalation. On Wednesday, the U.S. and NATO submitted separate written responses to Russia's publicly aired concerns, an overture that Moscow had requested. While the U.S. did not disclose what was contained in the document, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken told reporters Wednesday it did not give any ground in NATO's open door policy, leaving the U.S. at odds with Russia's central demand that NATO commit to never admitting Ukraine, which is fucking ridiculous. Why would we ever agree to that? Why are we going to let Russia, a gangster kleptocracy, tell free countries how they can join? With who? Here's a good idea. Stop fucking around on their border and they might not, and be a good neighbor. Maybe they won't need it. They weren't rushing to it. They got offered in 2008. It's this kind of shit that drives them into the arms of NATO. This is why Putin can't keep a relationship going.
As bad as the border is, and it's the worst in history, including drugs coming in.
Well, I blame the wall. How weird is it? I mean, we always had the same number of people working the border. We arguably have more now. But ever since that wall went up, man, fucking anything gets through. I don't know what's happening.
But as bad as the border is, it really started with the horrible and incompetent way they got out of Afghanistan. We could have gotten out with dignity and strength. We were set to do that.
Yeah, we were set to do it. I mean, and set to do it, of course, stay.
I got it down to 2,000 soldiers from, as you know, many times that number. And we were set to do it. And you take the military out last, not first. They took the military out first. And then they left the $85 billion.
Well, out of the southern parts of the country, the last person to leave in the evacuation was military. And the only people who are still there either are dual citizens or Afghan citizens who wanted to stay.
We lost 13 people, but not only did we lose 13, we had many people really badly hurt, and nobody ever talks about.
I mean, this is like a recording at this point.
Them, but the way we got out of Afghanistan, I think that's when all this stuff happened. If you look, President Xi of China was watching, Putin was watching, Kim Jong-un was watching, and we became overnight a whole different country in terms of levels of respect. I think it was the most embarrassing day or week that this country's ever had.
Which day or week would that be over the 2 months of the withdrawal? The actual day, or a couple days later, or when
incompetent.
So let me ask you this, because I agree incompetence plays a role.
Let me ask you this. Can you kick my ass?
Also, I mean, it's really hard not to say, your batting average is so bad. I don't know if you're really on the team. When it comes to Ukraine, how much does Joe and Hunter Biden's, workings over in Ukraine complicate the matter?
Not at all.
Well, a lot of people, I noticed this morning, a lot of people were saying that because of Hunter Biden getting all of that money from Burisma, I guess you could say 160.
Excuse me. I don't think that's how you pronounce it.
The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
I see. Yes. And Hunter Biden, it's pronounced Hunter. Hunter.
4,000 a month or eight.
Hold on.
Noticed this morning, a lot of people were saying that because of Hunter Biden getting all of that money from Burisma, I guess you could say 164,000 a month or 83,000 a month, different numbers.
Again, get your fucking numbers straight. You were president. If you wanted those details, you could get them. This is why he's just pulling it out of his ass.
In any event, a lot, $3 million up front.
Yeah, more than Eric and Don Jr. earn because he actually did some work. By the way, Burisma, a completely corrupt company. Hunter comes in with Rosemont Seneca as a group, not just as an individual. He didn't go in there by himself, and oversaw the money that was invested in that company and said, yeah, we're going to sit here, and if it goes south, if it goes someplace it's not supposed to go, if it builds something it's not supposed to build, or the money leaks out and goes back to Russia, we're pulling the investors. And then magically, Burisma? How's it? What was the other? He had another
Company that his son worked for. That's Burisma.
Burisma. That's right. It's Burisma. Spursma is the what's this? Hold on. Black. The amount of Burshmishma? Yes. Of details in this.
Because of his great knowledge of energy, when in fact he has no knowledge. He had no knowledge of energy.
Well, he has
It was a bribe. It was a payoff. I think it makes it very difficult for them to do what they think they should do. But you have that problem with Russia too.
Well, one would argue that it would actually make it easier, because if there was any criminality there, Ukraine would have leverage over the president of the United States to get them to commit troops or some shit. If the idea is that, that Hunter Biden was involved in some hanky-panky over there and that Biden was getting a cut of it because of that, then couldn't Zelensky have that information and go, if you guys don't put feet on the ground, I want troops. But they're not. They're getting okay, you're getting drones and you're getting munitions and all the stuff that we've always given you.
Because the mayor of Moscow's wife gave him $3.5 million. What was that all about? That's a lot of money.
It didn't go to him. It went to Rosemont Seneca. They invested it. They only get to keep the profits. If this asshole knew anything about economics or loans or earning or adding value to anything, he would know this. She gave them that money to oversee as an investment, not even her full purse, by the way, after she got her husband locked up because he was a crook. She didn't want to be stuck and under the thumb of whoever took over, so she sent this money to Rosemont Seneca, and they invested it on her behalf, like a hedge fund, essentially. And now she is the richest woman in Moscow. Let me reiterate that. She is now, after working with Rosemont Seneca, because of how they invested her money, the richest woman in Moscow. And how did they get paid? Well, they got a primary fee, more than likely some initial fee, and then they made money if she profited. They took a piece of the profits.
What was that all about? And, of course, you have it in China where they gave him $1.5 billion to manage, where he'll take in hundreds of thousands.
That was to Rosemont Seneca before Hunter was even in. We've talked about this shit for fucking years now.
Of dollars a year for himself. So he's conflicted in every level.
Yeah, by the way, yes, he's got $1.5 billion. So according to Trump, Hunter Biden alone, by himself, is richer than Donald Trump right now from one deal. Weren't we supposed to trust Trump with the country because he knows how to make money and knows how to make deals? How the hell did that happen? How did every Trump deal eat shit and he's now got $93 million in the bank and $300 million worth of bills this year? But Hunter Biden makes one deal in 15 minutes. Remember, that's the whole story. He walked in and 15 minutes later, he walked out with a $1.5 billion in his pocket, apparently. Not to invest, not Rosemont Seneca investing this on behalf, which is what they fucking do all over the globe. Why they ultimately hired Hunter Biden and brought him in as a partner, because him standing there with his arms crossed as a representative, like, well, we can't run off with the money because his dad will get pissed. And that's, the Biden name is trusted. That's what they were using him for. He didn't have to know anything. His name attachment was enough to protect the money.
No matter what country you go to, the whole thing is a disgrace.
It's amazing. Yeah, the Bidens could go to any country, walk out with billions of dollars, no debt. Right? Because anybody heard any stories about Biden? Oh my God, the Biden debts. How are they ever going to pay them off? They all come due in a couple of years. What the fuck are they going to do? Anybody? Anybody heard anything like that? So what are we supposed to learn from this? That if what he's saying about the Bidens are true, oh my God, they just seem to make money. Because there's no criminality. They haven't even alleged actual criminality. It's just access, right? Selling access, I think, is the biggest one that they allege. Which, with no fucking access granted. They literally, the same text that Rudy is using about Hunter Biden, he's going to set up a meeting with the big guy. A meeting that never happened. Never was alleged to have happened. They were never even near each other. Yeah, and Biden shows his taxes. We know how many houses he owns. We know who his debt is owned by. What do you think? He's keeping it in fucking Bitcoin? Yes, Biden's a secret Doge millionaire.
The news today, again, back to Ukraine, is that Putin has put significant trauma teams with the troops. That's not just positioning. You don't normally do that.
Right. That's why Biden is trying to tell Zelensky it could happen in February, and that's next week. They know. Stop. And this is I know something that maybe the administration doesn't know. Fucking hell.
Should we be involved in this? Should we at least be arming them? What should we do?
We are arming them, dickweed.
Well, Europe should be totally involved.
Wait, Biden is literally Mao? Are you insane? How do you think so highly of Mao? What do you mean? What you define Mao? When did Mao do infrastructure based on private industry? Mao.
When Germany made the pipeline deal, I sent a white flag to Angela, who I got along with actually very well.
You sent a white flag to Angela? The fuck? Oh, I see.
Different side of the plate, but that's okay. She was.
It went by very fast, leftist rebel.
She was. She had views that were a lot different than mine in many cases, but I sent the white flag of surrender because Germany made a deal with Russia with the pipeline, and Nord Stream is a disaster. And I'm the one that brought that out. Nobody even knew about it. Mm-hmm. I used to talk about it all the time. Then,
hey, you know why there's you know why it's called Nord Stream 2? Anybody got an idea why there's anybody have any idea why there's why it's called Nord Stream 2? Because there's a Nord Stream 1? Nobody even heard about the second pipeline that's nearly the same as the first, but just comes from a place slightly south of there. Yes, there's a Nord Stream 1. They didn't even call it Nord Stream 1 until Nord Stream 2 showed up. It was just called the Nord Stream. The Nord Stream, it goes north. It streams north. Streams in from the north. From St. Petersburg down to Greifswald. Also, they used to just ship shit through here, right? And this runs by here. If you put like NATO troops in this thing, they can just go boat over and cut this off. And so that's why they were worried about it. They wanted like a stronger one and a better relationship, blah, 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 blah. Even still, let's say you've got boats bringing this shit in. You got natural gas and you're going to tanker it in, or you're going to drive it through Estonia and Latvia and Lithuania and Poland into Germany. If the U.S. wants to stop that shit, we got to sink some boats or blow up some trucks or destroy some roads in countries we're friendly with. That doesn't work. That sucks. But if you got Nord Stream and all of it goes through there, and we can supply Germany with natural gas from this direction to keep their lights on so they don't have to worry about it, who gets fucked if we cut this pipeline off? Any guesses? Good Lord. Nobody even heard about the second pipeline because I never talked about the first one. Don't
say, oh, he's weak in Russia. Putin would say, you're killing me with this pipeline. But I got it stopped, and it was stopped. It was stopped cold. But I told Angela, I said, you're tying your whole country into Russia because
if it was stopped cold, why'd they keep building it? Why'd you send a white flag?
You're going to get energy, and don't listen to them when they say 20%. It's 72% or more of their energy is going to come out of.
Yeah. Just don't listen to them when it's only that portion that we could totally make up with our shipments and with the rest of Eastern Europe without it. No. It's 72%. Just call it 80%.
That means that Russia controls them. Russia owns Germany. In one of the
there you go. Russia owns Germany. We're back to 1939.
Best moves I've ever seen where they're getting their energy, a large portion. And
hold on 1 second, if I may. Hold on. Let me see if I go. Sorry. Oh. I was typing something else. I was being funny. Okay. Whoop. I can type. Hold on. There we go. Let's see. Does indeed Germany is it owned by Russia? Is this the type of things I hear? Does Germany, is Russia owned Germany or is it the other way around? Okay, so here's Germany. Their budget's 1.53 trillion. That's their governmental budget. Russia's is 416 billion. Their budget surplus is 0.1%. They have a budget surplus of 0.1%. Russia's got a negative budget surplus. They're going into debt, 0.1%. Their debt is, let's see, the public debt share of GDP is 81%. Russia's is 12%, even though it's going down because they don't actually make anything. German economy is the 5th largest in the world. Russia's got, and then we don't even get into that. Russia became world's leading aluminum, reliance on commodity exports down here. Here you go. Exports. Germany exports $1.46 trillion worth of goods into it. And then Russia, $528 billion. All oil and gas. Like they're making cars and all kinds of shit. These guys, it's just whatever they get out of the ground. GDP, 3.4 trillion. Russia's 2. It's actually 1.4 right now. I don't know how old this one is. The average per capita is 34,000 US per capita, 14,000 in Russia. I've seen it closer to 10. So this is when was this? When did they stat this out? Hold on. As of select a year. Oh, this only goes to 2014, really? Business companies, 5 in rank there. Debt, there you go. There's got to be a better one than that. Hold on one second. I want to get something fresher, if I may. Germany, Russia, compare countries. Okay, Germany versus Russia in, yeah, here you go. There we go. Let's blow this up a little bit. I'm sorry about the stat size. It's a little small. Here you go. Yeah, this is closer. This is 2021. Annual GDP of Germany. 4.2 trillion. And Russia, 1.4 trillion. GDP per capita, 50,000. So the average German makes 50 grand a year in US dollars. The average Russian makes 10. The debt, they owe 2 trillion, 2.6 trillion. They owe 285 million. If you don't count the odd numbers of billions that Putin hides away. Their debt, there's 68%, 19% versus GDP. Debt per capita is 31,000 versus 1,950. It's like a bigger proportion of their, it's almost like Germany's slightly bigger proportion per individual, but they actually have a functioning social welfare system. Deficit's negative there, negative 59, which is, if you're that much smaller, is fucked. Expenditures, they spend 1.9 trillion. They spend 583 million. Education expenditures, government health. Government health expenditures, that's where your big debt is, by the way, for Germany versus Russia. Pour some vodka on it, it'll heal. Defense, almost like Russia spends more on defense than Germany does, which is why they have more money to spend on health, because they don't care. Expenditure per capita, Moody's rating, AAA. Russia's is BAA3. S&P, AAA for Germany, BBB minus. Fitch rating, AAA versus BBB. So this is basically, like, this is fresh from the cow. This has been sitting on a windowsill for a couple days. Corruption index, it ranks 80th. Higher number is good. They're 30. Competitive, 7%, 7 degrees, 43 degrees, because you're not climbing a social ladder in Russia. Unemployment rate 3.2. Russia's is higher, 4.3. Q3 3.2, steady. 5.9's up. It was up higher in during COVID. Unemployment is yeesh. There are more. Look how many more unemployed there are in Russia than in. That's strange. Population, capital, human capital rating, dollar exchange rate, and look at this. You can get. It's. I guess in euros, we're talking about 89 cents for a US dollar. You can get 78 rubles. There is no 10-year bond. Nobody expects it to be there in 10 years. Same thing with PPI. What do they produce? Nothing. Tax revenue, 41.3% in Germany. God knows in Russia. Who cares? They have a VAT tax of 20%. That's how they pay for shit. Exports, 1.3 trillion to 331 million. Exports as percentage of GDP, 35% exports in there, 22. Yeah. And then, let's see, go over trading. Age watch rating. Oof. Let's check this out. Come on, show me. No, I don't want to follow you on Facebook, you lunatic. Did it break out the... Where's the charts going there? I guess not. Anyways, you get the point. But Russia owns Germany. Let's just say it. Right. By the way,
remember,
Germany... for the record, Germany could buy Russia, is my point.
They're trying to say it's 30 and 40%. And even if that is too much.
No, they say it's 20.
It's over 70%. They closed their plants. They closed their nuclear plants and other plants. They got rid of coal, which was, seeming it to greatness because, frankly, the coal was, they had great ability. Right now they're having brownouts and every other thing. But they're getting their energy from Russia. So Russia has total control over Germany. And Germany's saying, oh, well, we don't want to fight them. They can't fight them because of what's happening with the energy. So it's very interesting to see. But I would really say it is a European problem. Don't forget, we've been paying for NATO.
Okay, so if it's a European problem, we shouldn't put troops in? Oh, we're not? Okay. By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Why is it that I've done more reading about these things than the former president and this dickwad who is interviewing him right now? Glenn, what's wrong with you, man? I mean, all you can do is wait for him to finish talking and go, ugh.
We've been paying for really 100% until I got involved. The numbers went down, down, down like on a roller coaster downward. And I got involved, and after...
Oh, so down, 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 down like a roller coaster, and then back up, and then down, and then around in a loop. And there. By the way, this is a man who has never been on a roller coaster. That's true. It is true because I can read, Trevor. That's an excellent point. Touché.
My first meeting, I said, you guys aren't paying your bills. And I was very strong on it. Obama would make a speech and leave. And other people would make speeches, Bush, and leave. They wouldn't say anything about it. And I said, you're not paying your bills. And I asked about it. Stoltenberg.
Well, because it's, hey, fucko, it's not an extortion racket. They're not paying us for protection. They got a break after 2008 because we recovered faster than they did.
Who actually was my biggest fan because he couldn't believe what I did. And we had a meeting, 28 countries. We had a meeting, and I said, you got to pay your bills. And one of the presidents stood up and said, does that mean you wouldn't defend us if we haven't paid our bills? I said, that's what it means. Because if you...
Yeah, if you can't cough up the money, I just let Russia kill you. Gee, I wonder why Russia didn't feel like they had to make any moves until Biden got in office. Because they were under the impression they could keep you in office for basically on the cheap by manipulating social media, bloviating bullshit hashtags, setting Americans against each other. It's the only thing they're good at right now. It's the only export they have is propaganda and bullshit.
Which almost didn't get reported. But the bottom line is the next day the money started flowing in.
Darn right.
So they paid the money, but they don't have the heart to work together. And if you're not going to work together, but this is a big problem. It's really not a problem for the United States. The only thing is we look so bad, we look so weak, we look so stupid after Afghanistan.
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. Is Afghanistan a place where we're at war? It's been months. Does anybody remember how long were we in Afghanistan? Does anybody remember? How many? Gosh, it's been so long. The memory has faded. Let's see, we were in there, 2001. God, I don't have to take my shoes off. Are we still in Afghanistan? At all? Anybody? So we haven't been in Afghanistan since August, and he ran on getting us out. And he didn't. Somebody else did. I'll think of it later. Somebody else got us out of Afghanistan. I don't know that. Yeah.
It's
the messages that China and all of our enemies are receiving for this are quite remarkable. When we're obviously talking to...
Yes, Yes, that it's remarkable. We're not going to stand there with a bullseye on our back, taking shots that you guys deserve. So we're getting the fuck out of Afghanistan, and the people that hate you, Russia, because of how you treat the Chechens and the Turks and the Uyghurs and other folks in Kazakhstan and elsewhere. That's your fucking problem now. And China, all the people who are mad about how you treat the Uyghurs, but we were a bigger, more valuable target. They're now free to fuck with you. That's the message they got.
Number 45 and probably number 47. When you were in office, you said sanctions.
No.
On Russia 16 times. You had the Nord Stream 2 pipeline sanction, indictments on Russia 5 times.
The Senate did those. He waited till the last minute to implement them.
Military action with a counterattack in Syria, lethal weapons.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean the micro war he started like Bush 2? Just like, I mean, basically what he did in Syria was like a redux of Gulf War I, and we see how well that worked out. It basically played out exactly the same way, because that's how Clinton got in office, because of George H.W. Bush.
Were provided to Ukraine, which hadn't been done, $10 million in funding to the Navy.
Dude, the only reason we provided lethal action or lethal support to Ukraine was because the Senate and the House insisted on it, largely, and it was bipartisan, because they're supportive of democracies against Putin, go figure, and also because Trump and Manafort changed the RNC platform to only give them defensive aid so that they wouldn't have any lethal aid. And that got out. So to show that they weren't in Putin's pocket like Trump is, everybody else had to actually pony up.
You kicked 60 Russian intelligence operations out of the United States. You withdrew
and bitched about it incessantly. Oh my God. You can't just run down. This is a Gish Gallop. This is what this is. Hold on. Trump, angry Russians kicked out. Fucking, like, you don't think anybody remembers this? 2018? Anybody? Trump felt misled and angry over expulsion of 60 Russian diplomats. He wanted a tit for tat. They kicked out 6. We'll kick out 6. And they're like, no. We got 60 fucking spies in this place. They all got to go. Trump erupted in anger when he learned that the U.S. was expelling 60 Russian diplomats in March, while France and Germany were only expelling 4 each. Washington Post reported late Sunday. Trump reportedly only wanted to match the number of the allies' expulsions and not be seen as taking the lead. Trump believed his aides misled him, the Post said. There were curse words, one official told the Post. A lot of curse words. The expulsions were the most ever by the U.S. against Russia and came in response to a suspect Russian nerve agent attack on a former spy and his daughter in England. Separately, the Trump administration appears ready to impose more sanctions on Russia. Nikki Haley, U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, said Sunday the new round of sanctions will target Russian companies that aid Syria's chemical weapons facilities. And this is, by the way, this was from Mitch McConnell, not from Trump. He was pissed. He was angry. He doesn't even refute it. He said it was true later on. He didn't want to have a bad relationship. We should have a good relationship with Russia. That's a good thing. Remember, that was part of one of the reasons why he started that whole line was because he was pushing back against this whole thing. He was so mad they made him look bad to Putin. President Trump seemed distracted in March as his aides briefed him at the Mar-a-Lago resort on the administration's plan to expel 60 Russian diplomats and suspected spies. The United States, they explained, would be ousting roughly the same number of Russians as its European allies, part of a coordinated move to punish Moscow for the poisoning of a former Russian spy and his daughter on British soil. We'll match their numbers, Trump instructed. According to a senior administration official, we're not taking the lead, we're matching. The next day, when the expulsions were announced publicly, Trump erupted, officials said. To his shock and dismay, France and Germany were each expelling only 4, far fewer than the 60 his administration had decided. Ooh, taking the lead. What a terrible thing. The president, who seemed to believe that the other individual countries would largely equal the United States, like they have that many fucking people, we're a much bigger country than they are, anyways, was furious that his administration was being portrayed in the media as taking by far the toughest stance on Russia. No one has been tougher on me, on Russia than me. Remember that shit? He was pissed. His briefers tried to reassure him that the sum total of European expulsions was roughly the same as the U.S. number. Right, because there's smaller countries, the European Union, United States, Union, United. Yeah, all right. I don't care about the total, the administration official recalled Trump screaming. Screaming, the official. Why would you scream? And by the way, why not manage the number? Why not pay attention? Right, boo fuckity who. I don't care about the growing angrier. Trump insisted his aides had misled him about the magnitude of the expulsions. There were curse words, a lot of curse words. And then the incident reflects a tension. The core of Trump's administration's increasingly hard-nosed stance on Russia. The president instinctually opposes many of the punitive measures pushed by his cabinet that have crippled his ability to forge a close relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin. How is he ever going to get Trump Tower Moscow if these assholes want actual to pay attention? On Friday night, the United States, acting with Britain and France, attacked Assad's chemical weapons facilities as punishment. Yes, by the way, we didn't do that alone. He was pissed about that, too. I wasn't sure, like, we'll do it, but they have to bomb first, and then we'll bomb something that's empty, and then we'll bomb a runway, and call Russia, see which runway they're not using anymore. White House spokesperson stressed that Trump's Russia policy has been consistent and tough from his earliest days in office, and he hates it, and that the president supports the recent moves. While we would like to work with Russia when faced with their malign activities on the international stage, the president will hold them accountable, Russia said. Some close to the Trump said the recent measures are the product of an ongoing pressure campaign to push the president to take a more skeptical view of the Russian leader. His own people were trying to push him in the right direction. And this asshole's going to throw this in a list of stuff. Oh, you did so. Remember when you did that? Remember? Cheers, Jay.
From the INF treaty, you were really tough on Russia, but the thing I think that made the biggest impact, and I'm wondering what role this played with the reversal from Biden, the biggest impact, the way to keep Putin under wraps is to collapse the price of oil, which we were doing.
Wait a minute. What? Hold on. The way to keep him in control is to collapse the price of oil. Is Glenn's studio in Texas like the rest of these assholes? Is he saying this out loud? I'm concerned for his safety. Say that again.
The biggest impact, the way to keep Putin under wraps is to collapse the price of oil, which we were doing by being energy independent.
No. Fucko, we were only energy independent because of the collapse in the oil price. I mean, like, what did they fucking... So run this by me again. Glenn, so making oil prices go down would hurt Russia. Oil prices down hurts Russia, right? That's the thing. And the only thing that was doing that, and that's how you get Russia. That's how you do it. Now, do prices go up or down when there's more of something? If it's everywhere, how much can you charge for it? There's a lot of it. Huh? And which one would you side with in a certain situation? Which side are you bullying in a chicken fight between Saudi Arabia and Russia about oil prices? Did you go to Russia and tell them, look, we're gonna let Ukraine join NATO if you don't fucking cut oil supply? Nope. As the United States pressed Saudi Arabia to end its oil price war with Russia, this wasn't chicken between the two of them, which it was. It was Saudi Arabia's the president gave Saudi leaders an ultimatum. Told Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman that unless the organization, OPEC, started cutting oil production, he would be powerless to stop lawmakers from passing legislation to withdraw troops from the kingdom. What? See, I'm sorry. You what now? That was what he said was going to be the result, that Congress was going to pull. What the fuck? The threat to upend a 75-year strategic alliance, which has not been previously reported, was central to the U.S. pressure campaign that led to a landmark global deal to slash oil supply as demand collapsed during the coronavirus pandemic, scoring a diplomatic victory which did what? Oh, it raised the price of oil. Trump delivered the message to the Crown Prince 10 days before the announcement of production cuts. The kingdom's de facto leader was so taken aback by the threat that he ordered his aides out of the room so he could continue the discussion in private, according to a U.S. source who was briefed on the discussion by senior administration officials. The effort illustrated Trump's strong desire to protect the U.S. oil industry from a historic price meltdown as governments shut down economies to fight the... So, I'm sorry, what was it again? How do you control... Yeah, I'm sure American oil companies would love for oil prices to shit the bed again.
What role did that play in this?
That too, and the nice thing about I appreciate that list. You know, some of those things I don't even think of. We did all of them, and
yeah, because they're fucking fake, dummy.
And I appreciate that list. I'm going to get a copy of that. Have that sent immediately to me. I think I'll mention it this weekend.
Yeah. I don't even know what I did. I was so good at what I was doing. I don't even know what it was. How stupid is that? Listen to this bullshit.
You know, some of those things I don't even think of. We did all of them, and I appreciate that list. I'm going to get a copy of that. Have that sent immediately to me. I think I'll mention it this weekend. Yeah. I'm in Texas, where we have I hear an incredible crowd. They don't like to talk about crowd size. Yeah. You know, they never mention it, but we could have 90,000 people this weekend in Texas. It's
Yeah, go for it. 90,000 people, I'm sure.
Be great. And
85 to 90,000 bored people.
I'm gonna mention those things that you really do. You bring up items that.
By the way, please do, because I'm tired of debunking your same old talking points. I would like some new bullshit to debunk.
I've done so many of them, and I actually. One other thing, I got along great with Putin, but he said, "You're killing me" on some of this stuff. You know, I had a good relationship with him. He would have never done what he did, what he's doing here. And by the way, Len, I really believe that he wasn't going to, he was doing it to negotiate. And then he saw these people falling all over themselves not to be involved. And he said, wow, I can go in here easy. So I think it's much different. I think 2 weeks ago, he had no intention of doing it. He was just negotiating and doing his shtick, which he likes to do.
Shtick. Yeah, it's just shtick. It's just shtick, amassing troops. It's the thing he does. I mean, he usually does it 2 times, and then he attacks and he takes Crimea. It was just shtick when he took Crimea, and it's just shtick when he floods sympathizers and troops into Donbass. It's shtick. Fucking hell.
And now he's seeing it's like a clear path because of the stupid people he's dealing with.
And what would you say to Putin now?
Yes, what would you say to him? I mean, obviously, let's set the scene. The 2 of you are in a room with translators, no note takers present, and no one from the U.S. government, but there are 6 agents from the Russian government present. You know, like normal. Also, by the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. I mean, I'm the only show that does these clips all the way through. I don't cut stuff out of context. I don't take a piece of something like this and then make a big deal out of it. I talk about it as it rolls. I don't pre-watch this shit. We address the stuff as it comes up. It's just like you and me watching this stuff happen live. And so I appreciate all the support and love and stuff. And also, thank you, trolls, for being with us today. It helps our reach. It helps us with the algorithm. It gets us into areas of YouTube and Facebook and Twitch where we couldn't get naturally just by our, the people who regularly watch. So thank you, trolls. And I'm sorry if you say shit and no one gets upset here. Yeah, you're going to have to go to Hassan's chat or something to get people to get mad because it's just not going to work. Yeah. We're fine. Yes, I am. I'm going on Midas Touch. I want to say on the 7th, week from Monday, right before I go on the Monsters of Rock cruise. Yeah.
If you were talking to him.
Well, now is a whole...
Yeah. And by the way, why aren't you talking to him? I thought you had a great relationship. Don't you call Kim Jong-un? Let the State Department know, of course, but...
Different story, because now, and he's really ready to go. And, people are amazed at the newness and sophistication of his weapons. I don't know if you've been seeing that,
yes.
But they are really surprised by the...
We are? Since fucking when? What? What newness of his... what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Hydrosonic. I call it super duper.
What?
Henry, I'm not surprised because that's what he does. I mean, that's what certain of these people...
Yeah, it's what he does. He makes weapons because he can't make fucking anything else. They pump oil out and then they secure it as violently as possible. Basically, Russia is an oil pump and a handgun. That's the whole fucking country. If they stop that shit, I don't know. They might be able to fucking build space stations or some shit.
Kim Jong-un, he's got some pretty powerful things going in there too.
Oh yeah, so they're great. None of them land anywhere. It's weird. Can't imagine why.
Starting to do tests like he's never done before.
Like he's never done before. Yeah, he was busy building weapons while he was bullshitting you. And now he's testing them. Do you think he just made them in the last 3 months? Uh-oh, Biden won. Start making some crazy missiles.
He's really seeing the same thing. They're all watching. They all watched what took place in Afghanistan. Not the withdrawal, but...
Yes. Yeah, the withdrawal, the part where we're no longer there.
They withdrew. And it's very sad. I think right now it's a whole different thing. And
Sorry, it's sad we're not still in Afghanistan? We're not, are we? Does anybody remember? Are we still... I mean, we were in there for like 20 years, according to the chat. I saw it, but I have a hard time believing it. But are we still in Afghanistan? Or is the United States still bogged down in Afghanistan? Are we still in Vietnam too? It's so hard to keep track.
Tell you, I was asked a question last night. I said, I wouldn't want to tell you what I tell him because, you can't tell everything. You're playing a very highly sophisticated game of poker. And,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to tell him I'm playing a very highly sophisticated game of poker, and I play with my cards facing out so he can see them, but I don't want you to see them. I don't want the people on my side to be able to see my cards. These are any do you have any eights? Yep, that's old maid asshole. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. I have this. I'm bluffing. If you want that. Jesus.
Can't go out to the public and say, I would tell him this or I would tell him that.
Why not? Do you think this is still going to be going on if you did run in 2024 and won? The fuck?
You got to do what you have to do and tell him things that are very tough, but you can't reveal that to the public until maybe after it's all done. But I think...
Yeah, after it fails miserably.
The ways of talking him out of it.
I tell you, he'll tell us what he's going to tell Putin in like 2 weeks, right after his healthcare plan and his taxes come out.
One of the things that you mentioned was so important is I drove the price of oil down, and that really hurt Russia and was killing OPEC. And now we're going back.
And then you went over there and threatened Saudi Arabia to raise the fucking price. He threatened to literally, the same shit he tried to pull in Ukraine. No wonder he thought it was a perfect call. Because when he did it with Saudi Arabia, Salman fucking ran everybody out of the room. Jesus Christ. This gets dumber the more you hear about it.
It's amazing. It's not even believable. We were energy independent.
Oh, they just gave him the wrap up. You see that down here in the corner? Watch down here. Somebody, they're getting towards a commercial.
Amazing. It's
Look at
not
that.
even.
See that? He's going to kick Trump to the curb. Watch it happen. There you go. Here you go. This isn't, oh shit, I've got Trump on the line. We just blow through the break. Watch.
And now we're going back to OPEC because we don't have oil.
Jeez.
It's amazing. It's not even believable. We were energy independent just a year ago. And we were.
By the way, because no one was going anywhere, so it sped up a process that started during the Obama administration that had more to do with technology than any policy anywhere, that it made both how we get oil out of the ground. Fucking hold on. I don't know why I have to explain. Okay. Let's see. Images. Whoop, hold on. Okay, so there's got to be a fucking better picture of this. Yeah, there you go. Okay, shale oil and gas. Now, used to be that you ran this thing down here and and there'd be like one tube and it would go here, right? And that's it. This is how you used to do it. You build one of these towers, they run this one pipe down, goes in this, and it could go like 600 feet. This is a Canadian version of it, but it's the same technology. And that's how you get shale oil out. And one of the things, the byproducts of shale oil is natural gas. It comes out, you have to vent it. That's why, let's see if I can find it. Let's see, satellite image US at night. Okay, see this? I don't know, I'm going to blow this shit up. Get up here. There you go. See, okay. See, there's Chicago, and there's Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle, and there's New York, and all this crazy. Look at this, all of these lights, all this stuff. And it's started dark. What the fuck giant city is there? Whoops, it's too far up. I'm sorry. See this right here? What the fuck is that? What giant city is way up there? There isn't one. That's an oil field. That's the shale oil fields. Those are natural gas vents. They're burning natural gas off. There's so much of it, they can't capture it. There's no infrastructure in place yet. It's what we've been building for the last few years. To get them as it just comes out. Look at this shit. Look how bright that is. That's natural gas vents. There's ones down here too. But that's like, look how fucking bright that is. I wish the graphic was out of the way. Let me move it out of the way. Shit. I put it down here. Look at that. Look how, I mean, it might as well be fucking Minnesota. Or Minneapolis. That's just fucking gas, like, burning. They're venting gas right there. That's fucking crazy. That's how much there is of it. Now, we used to get it out of the ground, we used to have like one of these things and it they go like this. You go down here like this, and then there's a gas reservoir, and the natural gas comes out here, and then it's just kind of in a pocket, and you take that off. Now it comes out the same thing. Now they've got these dual split ones. Look at this. Now they've got these things where they have these little splinters off of them. And I don't know, there should be a better, let's see. I wish I had a better image of it. But basically, they started out as like these single pumps that go sideways. And then now they, get out of here, shale oil, let's see. Natural gas wells. See if they can do a picture. diagram, maybe. I know that'll good. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it used to be one, and you get a tunnel, and it goes sideways, and you just got it out of here, and then pull out of this gas-rich layer. Now they have boom, 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 boom. There'd be these side projects. Now they splinter off like tridents. So instead of one thing right here, there's 3 of them that come out both directions. That shit that started like almost a decade ago, 2006, it really started gaining ground, just technologically. Current natural gas wells use 80% less energy to extract gas than the first ones. 80%. The cost of oil in the North Midwest, Wyoming, the Dakotas, all those areas where those wells are, is at break even at $40 a barrel. So anything over 40 is a profit. And it's coming, the price, because of the technology, is coming down. We're going to match Saudi numbers. And the Saudis, haven't improved their way of getting out of the ground in fucking decades. This asshole does not know what he's talking about materially. This is all technology that just come along. It's the same thing with the fucking vaccines. mRNA technology has been sitting around for a long time. We just got pushed into using it quickly, and it's going to end up changing fucking everything. mRNA vaccines are going to be the future. Period. End of story. That's how it's going to work. And there's going to be a bunch of this flailing because it's new, but it's been something that's been creeping up for 10 years. And if it hadn't been here, the whole COVID thing would have been way worse. Because of our interconnectivity, because we are not as isolated as we were in, during the Spanish flu. I know I'm going over time. I'll
to be double the size of both, and now we're like a bunch of beggars. We're going back to OPEC and asking them to give us oil. We're going to Russia.
No, we're not taking their oil. That's about the market. It's the same thing he did. But just the inverse. He told them to cut production. We're telling them to put the production back because they cut it too much. They overcompensated. And they're still operating as if COVID's still a thing because they want the price back. So they've limited supply to keep the price artificially high instead of just going back to normal. Yes, 1917. That's right.
They're giving oil to the East Coast. Can you believe it? We had so much oil, we didn't know what to do with it, Len. I drove the price down. In fact, I drove it down so low I had to get it back up a little bit for the industry itself.
He drove it down. Guys, I thought COVID was a fuck up, but actually it was his ploy to drive oil prices down.
But that was killing for Russia, what I did. And now they're talking about
that was killing for Russia. The best words, just not in a good order.
$150 a barrel.
Which was the point of economic collapse in 2008. It was $130 a barrel in 2008, and it caused...
It was oil. Oil's what caused the collapse, not the fucking credit default swaps and the house of cards. Watch The Big Short. Was anybody going, it's oil. Oil's going to do it.
It was the final straw.
But who would have thought when I was doing the oil, when we had it down to $25 a barrel, who would have thought we would have ever had this conversation that we're having right now?
So everything that you
$150.
Everything that you look at,
it's not $150, dum-dum. It was $150 then. What? Oh shit! What's oil right now? Is it 75, 80, something like that? Oil prices per barrel current. Fucking hell. Crude news. There you go. Oil markets bullish as Brent crude breaks 90. Hold on one second. Let me check something. I'll be right back. Give me a second. All right, going long. 1 second. Checking on something. Herp. There we go. I'm back. All right. There we go. Sorry. I was just checking upstairs, see if I thought I heard someone calling for me, and I did not. Yeah, oil hit 7-year peak on political risk supply crunch. 86.82 a barrel. That's where we are. After taking a giant shit last year. There you go. Oil prices, Brent crude. Predicts $100 price. That's not surprising at all since it was negative 30.
Is no way that you can say these people see America the same way America has always seen America. This is just not a...
What? Glenn, really? China doesn't see America the way America sees America? Russia doesn't see America the way America sees America? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Series of mistakes. And you want to talk about systemic. These policies and this kind of thinking, systemic throughout the system, and inflation is just beginning. Mr. President.
No, it isn't. Deflation is just beginning, you stupid son of a bitch, because it is not monetary inflation we're going through right now. I don't know how many times I have to tell these fuckers this, but what's going to happen is that you're going to use this year-over-year bullshit to say, oh my God, inflation is so high. And then year over year, when it's artificially high because it was low because of the pandemic, that 7% is distance. It's like 5.1%, which is a jump, but not extraordinary from 2019. But in measuring it year over year like that, because it's artificially high this coming year, it's going to look artificially low, which is going to make the Fed policy of tightening and quantitative easing, tightening their quantitative easing policy, going to look like it's working when it's actually the opposite of what they need to be doing. Because there isn't a flood of money in the fucking economy. They've been buying up treasuries like crazy. They don't trust China with bonds anymore, and China needs the money, so they're selling their bonds early. And we're buying them up and shredding them. The money comes out of circulation that way. It's the digital circulation. We're gonna head towards deflation because these assholes are gonna overreact because they think they know why we're in inflation, because they're gonna use this fucking 1979 model or 1982 model to define what the fuck inflation means when there was never a fucking pandemic during those times.
Is there, I mean, are you meeting with people?
Are you meeting with people? He's golfing and farting, dumbass. He's not meeting with people.
Let's just pretend that you might be running for president.
Yeah, let's pretend. Yeah, tell us the big story.
Is there a thought of people getting together and making a naughty and nice list on how you can clean this hornet's nest out quickly?
Well, we can, but don't forget, we're having, in my opinion, 10 million more people here. Many of the people should not be in our country. Many of these people.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he's not talking about immigrants. He means people in the government. He's talking about the deep state, dumb fuck. Get your stupid, psychotic, paranoid delusions together.
Dangerous, very, very dangerous people. Not only...
Don't go off on MS. He doesn't mean getting those people out. Oh, God. Okay, that's stupid. It hurts. Hold on. Whoops. Clear. Play, silly.
No, that plane lift from Afghanistan was a disaster because only 3% of those people should have been here. You're going to be reading about this for years to come. Some of those people that came.
Yeah, some of the 6-year-olds that were on there, they weren't vetted. They're going to grow up into terrorists. It's just going to happen. Just get used to the idea.
They're terrorists, and they should not be in this country. And then you see what's happening at this.
Jesus Christ. Dude, he's talking about people in the Fed. He's talking about he's talking about like rhinos and stuff.
Border. Last week, 121 countries were represented by people that came in. But the numbers are much worse than you.
It's like the fucking Olympics.
You know, the numbers you're hearing are, I had the border really at the lowest level ever, and that included drugs.
Yes, it's amazing how letting a disease run rampant will do wonders for keeping people out of your country. When Guatemalan refugees show up in Mexico and go, I'm not going in the United States. Fuck that. They have more cases than Mexico does.
And all they had to do is go to the beach. They didn't have to do anything. It was so good, getting better. The wall was almost complete. You know, they could have completed the wall in 3 weeks. It was supposed to. It took me 2
I thought it was a month. He's shaving a week off now?
years to get it started because I had the Democrats sued me 11 different
Nah, it's a butterfly sanctuary. Fucked up your whole plan.
times. You know that. I won all of the cases, all of the suits, and then I proceeded, and the wall was almost finished, and then they refused to do it. It's not even believable. What we're dealing with. I thought that was incompetence too when they showed the open borders, and then I realized this is really their philosophy: open borders, no voter ID. They cheat on elections. That's
Jesus Christ. He knows he's getting the rap. Like she's just dying over here. She's like, I already gave you the fucking rap. We're losing a break of this fuck up, and we're just. I'm doing everything right. Nobody's too right and wrong. And I did the thing and best tax cuts ever. And now I'm sitting here in a fucking bathrobe in a adult diaper in Mar-a-Lago calling into the Glenn Beck show, which is what, it's why I became president. Because only by being president for 4 years would I have access to Glenn Beck's show like this, where I could just call in anytime I want. And excuse me 1 second. I got it. I have a message coming in. 1 second. Hold on. I think it's there. Yeah, that's good. Sorry. Was that on hold? Did we put that on hold? And so yeah, is it good? Fucking hell.
They're good at, by the way, is politics, cheating on elections, but they have a horrible policy. Think of it. I mean, who would have the kind of policy? They're going to raise your taxes to a level that nobody's ever seen before. That's going to be next.
Well, dude, they had 90% taxes in like the 30s.
Who can get elected with this? They get elected because they...
Hey, I don't know, man, but he kicked your sorry ass.
Like hell in elections. That's about it. It's about all they can do well. If they use the same genius, by the way, for Russia, Ukraine, China, for North Korea, if they use the same genius that they do at cheating on elections, we'd have no problems.
Mr. President, thank you very much. God bless you.
Well, Glenn, thank you. Great job you do. Thanks a lot, Glenn.
God bless.
God bless. God bless. Not America, just you. You're just amazing. All right, I know I'm over time. I know it's late. I know you're weary. I know your plans just include me. Still, here we are, both of us laughing. We got tonight, babe, and Don Jr. Okay, look at this. Look at this sad shit. I want to show you something. By the way, that Glenn Beck thing, you know how sometimes I do a clip and I'm just like, oh my God, the thumbnail is enough to make me laugh. Oh my gosh. Oh, thanks, Lulu girl. This is the thumbnail for that shit. This is the thumbnail for the Glenn Beck thing we just watched. This never should have happened. Never in orange. I don't know what the fuck that is, and it's burning. Trump looks like, first of all, Biden's just in the middle of a speech, and Putin just looks like he has that I just farted moment. He's got this
God. Sorry. I farted.
Look on his face. Look at him. What is that? And then Trump's like, he looks like fat Jim Ignatowski. I quit drugs for $1.87. Oh. What does a yellow light mean? Right. Yes, that's what's happening.
Assuming you're believing in atmospheric filth.
Anyway, so that made me laugh just looking at that. Slow down. What does... I'm not going to be able to do it. All right. I know this is going to have a fucking ad on it, so give me a second. So stupid. Bill O'Reilly grills futurist who claims Biden presidency will create massive wealth. Ouch. Okay.
Hey, guys, you missed Donald Trump yet?
Guys.
You know, I'm watching the news.
No, we just watched an interview with him, and he's the same sloppy, boring mess. He doesn't even know his own accomplishments now. It was bad enough when he was just repeating the same bullshit. Now he's got to outsource bullshit from Glenn Beck.
Today, and I can't even believe what's going on. I'm not even talking about economically anymore. I mean, that speaks for itself, just a ridiculous...
Because you don't know anything about it, so you can't speak about it? Or is it just that you think you know a lot about it and you're glad to talk about it, but nobody takes you seriously because you're the son of a fake billionaire?
Tax on hardworking Americans with inflation and gas prices and the insanity and stupidity that's going on, supply chain issues. But I'm watching now North Korea
It's going to supply chain issues.
Their sixth missile of 2022. I just saw that on the news. It's hard to believe that's even accurate, but of course they are, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, the news is accurate. Now that Trump's out of office, everything they say is true. That said, did it land anywhere? Was it successful? When did they build those missiles? While your dad was cradling Kim Jong-un's balls, that's when.
Russians are amassing more troops on the Ukrainian border. China is flying planes all over the place around Taiwan.
All around. I appreciate you not saying bombers, so many bombers over it. That's what your dad said, but he's a little thin right now.
Because our enemies are watching and they realize that we are feckless, we are weak, and we are stupid and incompetent. Because that's...
There you go. Well, are we? Are we? Sorry, slow down, bro. I can't handle this much patriotism in one giant dollop. Oh, thank you, Carol. You've been working on your Jim Ignatowski. Victor Bruno played Jim's dad. Trump could play Bono in the movie. That's true.
What this administration is exuding: stupidity, weakness, and
yes, it exudes stupidity. All
incompetence. Nothing more, nothing less. Our enemies see that because that's what happens, right? Bullies prey on the weak, and they know America is.
But enough about your relationship with your father.
Weak, right? I'm watching the other day, Russia's threatening a major cyber attack on the U.S. in the coming days. Really? You think, as they're amassing troops on the Ukrainian border, you think that would be good for Russia or not? It's almost like the war machine, the military-industrial complex, the Liz Cheney type.
Also, first of all, he's reading a list of things, and I think he's lost track of where the fuck. Make up your goddamn mind. Also, why is this not a good picture of your dad? By the way, look at that orange. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. What the? Look at his ear. Look at his hand. Look at his face. Look at his hand. You can't blame that on the light, fucko. You can't say that LEDs are what makes your dad look like a fucking pumpkin. Also, that's gotta be Dr. Birx's hand.
The world, the never-ending wars, folks. It's like they're leaking disinformation.
Never-ending wars? Motherfucker, Biden ended Afghanistan.
In my opinion, to get us into a war in Russia because they need they need a distraction from the...
Yeah, yes, that's that. The Democrats were not able only to be so weak and snowflakey and soy boyish that they're the weakest people in the world and they easily are bullied. But they did manage to take over all of tech, all of media, and the entire election system while Trump, the most amazing president ever, was running everything. But somehow he managed to get fucked out of the presidency by 8 black volunteers in one county in Georgia. But meanwhile, we can't handle that. But the Russians are going to be the end of us because they're amassing troops because of I see. So we took over tech, we took over media, we took over and we've taken over Russia, and we're putting that's Democrats putting those troops on the Ukrainian border so that we can also make Ukraine
disaster that is everything else, that is the Biden administration, but not just the Biden administration, because anyone who's watching understands that's not him. It's Democrat policy. It's incompetence. So you know what? Maybe it's to cover up the Hunter.
Sorry, incompetence is a policy? I mean, it's the RNC platform. Is he going to say Hunter Biden laptop?
In Ukraine, right? If you're a Ukrainian official and you know whatever the hell Hunter was doing there, maybe you call back, hey, guys, you better get our back. Maybe the war machine.
What do you mean, get our back? The Ukrainians didn't start the Russians building up as a way to manipulate America into financially supporting them if they had that leverage. What? What does that mean? What, honest to God? What is the allegation here? We're already on Ukraine's side. Your dad was the dude who denied them support. The United States of America, the Congress, that Biden ran on actually supporting them, and he's actually doing it. What leverage? Did they have? Is there a hard drive for every member of Congress? What the hell?
Is out there saying, you know what, it's been 4 months since we've been in a war. We're not making as much money as we should. Let's get that going again. But you really think Russia's going to...
The fuck are you talking about? Your dad bragged about the biggest military expansion in our budget in ages, rebuilding the Navy. We got 10 more destroyers, right? That was the whole point. What the fuck do they need to dick around in Ukraine for? We're building the stuff anyways. That didn't start, the fucking military budget we'd be pulling from happened under Trump. We don't have to add shit. We already have this stuff.
Threaten and a planned cyber attack on American businesses right now. Don't you think that would just get America into the war? Do you think they want to be in a war any more than...
Yeah, the Russians don't want war. That's why they're amassing troops, just to show how much they don't want a war. That's why they're threatening a cyber attack, because they don't want to do it. You're making them do it. The Democrats' policies on inflation are making the Russians have to. They gotta, guys. It's our fault. Talk about blaming the victim mentality. By the way, let's see. Let's just go back. Let's go back even further. One second. There we go. They don't, I mean, Russia is only doing this because Biden is weak and, suspected a major cyber attack on U.S. government departments. December 14th, 2020. Now, who was president at 3 o'clock in the morning on December 14th in 2020? Russian hackers working for the Kremlin are believed to be behind breaches of U.S. government computer systems of Departments of Treasury, Commerce, Homeland Security that may have lasted months before they were discovered. Oh, it wasn't in that December. I see. It was all during 2020. I see. The hackers reportedly broke into the email systems of the government departments, but the full extent of the breach was not immediately clear as U.S. officials scrambled to make an assessment. there are concerns that the hackers may have, hold on, let me blow this up a little bit for you guys, penetrated other government departments. They don't want to do this, though. We're making them do this, guys. Come on. Commerce Department, National Security Council, and the Department of Homeland Security all acknowledged the intrusion in brief statements but provided no details. We can confirm this has been a breach in one of our bureaus. We have been working closely with our agency partners regarding recently discovered activity on government networks. So the government did not name Russia or any other actor as being responsible. Reuters first reported on the story Sunday, and subsequent reports identified Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, the SVR, as the most likely culprit. Russia's SVR, the rough equivalent of the CIA in the U.S., was blamed for major hacks in 2014 and 15 that involved unclassified email systems at the White House. By the way, they never hacked Hillary's email server. Never got it. Because if they did, they would have released everything in it, you'd think, right? No? Anybody? That's not? No? All right. Who's president when this? No, who is that? Let's see. This was in December 8, 2020. Top cyber firm FireEye has been hacked by a foreign government. State-sponsored attack. Attackers tailored weapon class. U.S. intelligence community. Russian. They also warned that Russia and others are no doubt probing other valuable targets during the election season, which was over except for this asshole. Now that so that's the case that Junior is making is that the Russians only attack when they view a country as weak, except when Trump is president, because they're doing it because our country is strong.
I don't think they want to be in a war.
Nah.
I think
they just put those troops. Where are you going to park your troops? Except in the snow on another country's border while threatening them. Guys.
They don't want NATO expanding into the Ukraine, as Tucker Carlson said the other night, which kind of makes sense. I get.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of makes sense. They're not trying to do it. The offer came in 2008. They haven't moved in that direction since. There's been no movement about that. So why the fuck would that be the reason for the buildup now? Other than the fact that they are running out of resources and they need the Ukrainian space for their own pipelines and for gas.
So it almost feels like the war machine is actually firing back up by leaking. Oh, Russia's going to attack us, so we better get into this first, right, guys?
Whoa. No, because the us in this is only if you're Ukrainian.
Does anyone believe this crap anymore? Again, it's all smoke and mirrors, it seems. And honestly, I can't read a report like that from our intelligence officials.
I think you basically just say, I can't read and leave it there.
Like, are you sure it's not exactly the opposite? Because everything else...
Yes, sure it's not the exact opposite. Maybe we're amassing troops on the Russian border. Maybe we're about to attack Russia unprovoked. Yeah, that's probably... If you just hear it from if the CIA says it, the opposite must be true. You know why? Because people at the CIA, I know they take an oath to protect the government and they find themselves doing some squirrely shit. And it's cool to be James Bond if you're MI5, but if there's an American agent that does it, they're somehow evil. Always side with Russia. What the fuck?
They've told us over the last 5 years has been exactly the opposite. Okay?
No, it hasn't. I mean, gibberish, we know this.
So, it's not just the economy why I want Trump back. It's not just American jobs.
It's because I'm going to go to jail if he isn't.
Just push back on China or Russia or anyone. It's literally everything. We could potentially be at the brink of world...
Yeah, crops. Everything is wrong. The whole, passing of an infrastructure bill. If Trump was in, I want Trump back just so we can undo the infrastructure bill. Get out of it like we got out of the Paris Accord. Fuck that roads and bridges and broadband bullshit.
3, and we don't know if we're sending in American kids to die, possibly.
we are not sending in American troops, and certainly not kids to die. I mean, I would worry more about sending kids into Florida right now.
Because Joe Biden's acting a little differently because maybe the Ukraine has more information on his corrupt son than he'd like out there or than we already know. You can't help but wonder, like, are we making decisions to start World War
Again, we're already on. Yes. Yeah, they're going to start World War III, a nuclear and cyber war that would devastate society as we know it, to cover a cush job that Hunter Biden had as a investment banker or as an investment broker that everyone knew about.
Because of
side
that.
with a country we already side with.
You say, maybe that's conspiratorial. Yeah, right.
No. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Don Jr. is speaking in a conspiratorial way. I'm saying he's being a dumb shit. Conspiracy theories at least have to have some level of like, that's interesting. This is just idiotic. There's a difference. I have a little more respect for the Alex Joneses and the David Ikes of the world, because at least they try to stitch their stuff together emotionally, and we've got the documents. He doesn't even, guys, I don't even have Post-it notes. Guys.
Like we haven't done so much worse over the last few years. And so that's the problem, guys.
Wait, I don't even understand that. Hold on, back up. What are you saying? What is he fucking saying? I cut it.
Yeah, right. Like we haven't done so much worse over the last few years. And so that's the problem, guys.
Hold on, back up. We haven't done so much worse? Which part?
You say, maybe that's conspiratorial. Yeah, right. Like we haven't done so much worse over the last few years. And so that's the problem, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, my bad. It didn't make any sense. It was just a gibberish sentence attached to another gibberish sentence. Because, are they good guys?
There's no faith or trust in our government, in our leaders, in our actors, in our intelligence, because everything they've told us for the last...
Excuse me, as an actor, I would like to take issue with that. I think there's a lot of people out there that have great trust in me because I fucking well earned it. I don't get out over my skis if I can help it. I don't talk out of my ass. I don't bear false witness. And I call out your bullshit at every turn. And I'm right about a lot of this stuff, if not all of it. And even where I'm off, I'm like, oh, here's some updated. I didn't realize I was as right as I was about this stuff. And I show my fucking work. Instead of hiding in 1/4 of the frame and not referencing anything that I'm saying, which is what this asshole does for a living now. I'm not cranking out Rumble videos for blow money using Post-it note scripts from the Heritage Foundation and the RNC.
Few years is a lie, and that's why I miss Donald Trump. Do you?
That's not.
Hey guys.
Guys. No, you miss Donald Trump because you're gonna need a pardon. You're fucked. That's why. And you guys are broke. And these folks are only gonna hang on so long with this bullshitting about, presidency. And by the way, that whole was 45th and also 47th. That's the number after Biden's done, after 4 years or 8 years. I love the idea of Trump running, not in 2024, but in 2028. Come on, man. Roll it up. Throw it up. I want to see that Trump 2028 in it fucking stained golf pants, wearing golf cleats into the presser. So you hear crick, crack, crick, crack, crick with every step. He slips and falls on his ass. I meant to do that. I was punishing the floor. Guys, pick up my dad. Guys, he's got to remain president for at least 3 days so he can sign the pardons. Guys. Yeah. So that's no, we don't miss Trump, and he's your dad. Like, go talk to him. Oh God, what a mess. All right, I've got to say, I went long. I did go long again, but I love you guys, and I missed you over the last couple days, so it's always a danger. And there's so much. Oh, there's so much stuff. I never am going to run out of stuff. And it's because of that the number of like Russian trolls we popped up over the last little bit is so reassuring. And I would like to say, I don't know if you guys need a translation app, if you speak English, or, if they put you, on, because you've got kind of a working idea. It doesn't seem like you do. It seems like you're cutting and pasting at best. But I just want to say, like, if you do speak English, it's nothing personal against you as an individual or even the citizens of Russia. Your leader's a fucking psychopath. He's a mess. He's falling apart, and he wants to take you with him. Your country has a lot of potential and a lot of land and a lot of stuff it could do that's very cool and very positive, and you're not doing fucking any of it while Putin's running the place. Sorry. And you're about to hand the place over to him, forever. Sorry. Fix your shit. I mean, we look at you the same way we look at China, man. We love the Chinese people, but the CCP is fucked. And Xi wants to stay forever. He wants to go from chairman to emperor. That's what he wants. That's not the fault of somebody in Xinjiang or in, Nanjing or, it's sad. It's sad for them. We feel bad for you guys. We had so much hope. Dude, I watched the Moscow Music Peace Festival and I was like, fucking A right. I want to go see some of their old architecture and visit Russia and shit. Seems like crazy fun. And then what'd you do? You went back to the old habits because you got nothing better to do, and you don't make anything worth a goddamn anymore. It's not because you can't. You just don't. So again, to the Russians who are watching, we don't want to invade. Nobody wants to. Even NATO doesn't want to invade. We're just worried that you will, but we're not coming in. Nobody gives a rat fuck, honestly. You don't have to protect your borders. Your borders are going to stay. Oh, actual Aaron, thank you so much. Let's see, I will. Robert, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And same thing with our 我们的中国的朋友, our Chinese friends. 我们最喜欢你. We like you a lot, but your government fucking sucks. It's terrible. What it's doing is terrible, and you could do so much better. The Taiwan model would work on all the provinces. You'd be great as 5 different, Sino-based countries. It'd be amazing. You'd be manageable. You could interconnect. Yes, by the way, Russians, that's true. Mohamed and Russians, we do love your dash cam videos. Crazy. But even still, it's fairly pruriently not because we want, not because it's not in a good way. So, anyways, I as a proud and patriotic American who is adores our system of government with all its flaws and our constitutional system based on the ideas that are ingrained in it, however impure they were started, the direction that they were built on going, as any philosophy that grows positively over time has to grow. I get prouder all the time of being an American, even with the craziness that we go through. And I wish the same for like the Russians and the Chinese. I just wish they could step forward. I don't expect you to, but we're all keeping our fingers crossed for you. So knock off the whole Ukraine bullshit. Start making shit. Honest to God, you guys should be. I don't know why the fuck you haven't built like a space station orbiting Mars by now. You have the means and wherewithal. The fuck are you doing? Who cares? You're chasing gas? It's so lame. Just sorry. Sorry, Russians. Sorry, Chinese. Sorry. America fucking rules. We're having a great time. Even as bad as it gets here, it's still better. And it's just going to get better because, quite frankly, we still have sex. And I don't know why you guys stopped, but you have. So your demographics look like shit. All right, I got to go. On that note, tomorrow is the radio show, the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. It's on WCPT, and I live stream right here, so please join in. You can also call in on that one. 773-763-9278 is the number. I'll post it during the show. Johnny Million will be with us. And then tomorrow evening, I will be doing the Trump rally. I think it's at 7 o'clock his time in Texas, so it might be, 5 or 6 my time. Depends on when he's going on. I'll figure that out by radio and announce it then, if they even know. He was late last time too. But I will be on with you guys and we'll give the good old college try. We'll watch him read that list of things from Glenn Beck, the 3 things that Glenn added to his list, right? So take care of yourself. Take care of somebody else. Thank you guys for your support. Don't forget, if you're on Twitch, twitch.tv/HalSparks, please subscribe. If you use Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. Also, if you can afford to and you want to gift a sub, you can do that for somebody else. If they can't afford it, if you're on there and you like using all the emojis and stuff, people can gift you subs. It's pretty lovely. But it's something you have to do regularly. Anybody who's been gifted a sub, it has to be redone because it doesn't auto do whatever. Anyway, so if you're thinking about doing that, please think about doing that. We're trying to get our numbers up, and it's always a struggle. The struggle is real. Meanwhile, people who are used to being in other Democratic-leaning chat rooms and stuff that are on Twitch, welcome. You guys have been finding us slowly but surely. You've been discovering us, and it means a lot. So hi, and I hope I'm helping. That's my goal. Every single time I'm on, I want to give you a little bit more information, a little bit of fun, and take some of the worry away. Because anywhere else, do you see anybody else, by the way, on the left side of things going over this stupid footage from the tarmac? It's almost like they're running from it. I'm not running from that shit. It's garbage. And I'm never going to be afraid of it. So there you go. I will always dive into this stuff. We have 894 subscribers on Twitch. It'd be lovely if we could get 6 more and get above 900. That would be lovely. And I'm going to send the folks that are over there on Twitch over to Airborne. He's got a guest on right now. I can see it. And so we'll send a little air raid over and some love to him. You guys have a bunch of fun, and I will see you in the morning.